audible? People hear me? The heck? Oh, my video looks a little bit soft, but that's okay. Let's see this. Wrong way. There we go. That was a little bit sharper. Yeah. All right. Oh, wait, this. I'm referencing off an additional laptop. And it doesn't look too clean. Oh, there we go. Wow. How's everybody doing? How many people we got here right now? Oh, we got issue? No. Yo, what up? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Winter. It's like, you know, I feel very tired today. I'm like low energy. Hello. I still haven't figured out how to say your name. Claristalgia? Claristalgia cover music? Yo, what's up? But yeah, I feel like strangely tired today. I'm not like didn't get up early or anything. But yeah. I think we're gonna be okay. Hello, Keanu. How are you doing? Yeah, we're getting back on the grind for reviewing videos today, so that ought to be fun. You know, talking through some of your videos. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like Billy Z. Hello. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. It looks like my mic audio is fine, but every time I go back to rewatch my VODs to see how it actually was, it's always like not as fine as I think it is. But yeah, that's good to hear, Keanu. That's good to hear. But first and foremost, like, what the heck happened to my channel? Like, what? I think like a week ago I was at like what, 130, 140. Hello, Double Flat. How are you? But yeah, it's like suddenly, I think since like Wednesday, all of a sudden YouTube decided that I needed subs or something, or it needed to be viewed. Yeah, Double Flat is in the house. But yeah, it was like literally, I remember right before I put up the AOT trailer, I was at 147, and that's like, so like halfway, like midday Wednesday. And now I'm like 190 almost. And I'm like, what happened? Like, did the algorithm like suddenly give me lots like start pushing my stuff? You know, like I know view duration and like, you know, click-through rate and clicks per impression and stuff like that are like very important. And like percentage of the video viewed is important too, and whether or not your end screen elements get clicked on are important. But it's not like any of those stats changed in like a week. Yeah, AOT do be carrying your channel as well. Yeah, I don't know. I got a decent number of subs from AOT because of cross-pollination from everyone else who collaborated, I think. But then like it's the first time I'm able to like go and check my YouTube like every hour or so and just see like 5 to 10 like new views on a video. It is kind of weird. I should say Animens is carrying my channel. Animens is carrying my channel because Animens has the big name, and I get to, you know, talk about Animens and everyone knows what I'm doing and think it's cool even if I do a bad job. So, and I'm doing more talking and more actual analysis than some channels. But no shade here, no shade here. But anyways. Yeah, so big ups to everyone for that. Yeah, so anyways, slander. I see you. Perhaps. Hello, Hayashi, what's up? It's been a hot sec. You haven't been on here in a few weeks, but or at least you haven't made your presence known. But yeah, it's good to see you. Yeah, wow, we're getting a fair number of people coming in. All right, I guess we can get started soon. Yeah, I've been busy. That's the computer science grind. Am I right? Trying to the comp sci. Dang. I'm like, again, my concentrations in my physics major is in computer science, or so I get to take a few extra, you know, computer science classes instead of just dying doing physics all the time. But yeah, this stuff's tough, man. It takes so much time when you're trying to debug. Oh, I didn't know Bamboo's server plugged my stuff for free. CS is no-go? Yeah. My merch looks great. Troglodyte in CS, yeah. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me, Andrit. This is my merch. You can order it at the links down below and stuff like that. Support your boy, but I mean, it's all good if you don't. Anyways, what have you guys been up to with like music and like, you know? Yeah, thanks Hayashi. What have you guys been up to with like anime and music? Like, what are you guys watching? What are you guys listening to? Because I mean, recently I started. Oh, you forgot to fill out your choice sheet. But dang, no. Recently I started listening to a lot of Kathy Huang violin. And it's like, yeah, I've almost forgotten like how good the violin sounds when someone plays it well, right? Like, so I played violin for a bit, and watching her like do like I'm not a good judge of how good someone is at the violin, right? As I am at the piano, but like watching some of like the Calais motion and then like hearing some double stops and stuff like that, like really brought me back. Watts up Watts, funny, but yeah. I watched Fate Zero this week. That was really good. Yeah, I don't know. Crunchyroll's weird. Like season 2 of Fate Zero on Crunchyroll is like streamed mono, and I'm like, what is going on? It's kind of weird, but yeah. Anyways, Fate Zero, what I heard is really good. And I've been looking around at like Fate Night and stuff like that, and I still don't. I like the reviews are kind of like all over the place, you know. Like some people are like, Fate Night and like Fate Unlimited Blade Works and stuff like that aren't that great, but you know, yeah. My favorite opening so far, Fate's a bit too dude. Okay. Look, no joke, right? I haven't seen Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. I've only finished Fate Zero. I started with Fate Zero, but I'm just gonna say like I started watching it thinking that it was like a gimmick shonen, right? It's like let's reincarnate like a whole bunch of like famous like historical figures or whatever. But then I was very surprised that it was as deep as it got, right? And like the depth of each character and how much I became invested in each character even after like half a season, or even for the characters that I didn't like, right? Like how much backstory there was. So anyways, yes, it was very dark. It was surprisingly dark, right? For a guy who was expecting just a shonen. I was like, dang. Oh, the ending by Aoi is so good. Memoria. Yeah, I just added all the songs to my playlist. I think I know Brave Shine is from Unlimited Blade Works, but I really like Brave Shine even though I haven't seen it yet. But I think so far, O-Sign doesn't slap for me as much as it does for a lot of people. I don't know. It just feels a little. I don't know. There's just something to it. It doesn't have that X factor for me. But Calafina's to the beginning was really good. Yeah, Brave Shine is pretty baller. But yeah. Yeah, Brave Shine definitely hits different. Like once I think I want to read the visual novel at this point, right? But I don't know if I have the time to be able to put into what people say 70 plus hours of, you know, visual noveling. Too many Fate Stay timelines. Yeah, but I don't know. And on top of like the having to read the visual novel, right? Wanting to read the visual novel first because people say that that one kid, the Shiro or whatever, is like more fleshed out or whatever. Yeah, I don't know Rin yet because I've only seen Rin in one episode. But we will see. But yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I don't know, but Fate Stay Night. Maybe that's next. Keep it simple. Fate Zero. Unlimited Blade Works. Yeah, I mean, Unlimited Blade Works has a better animation, right? Because it's by what, Tabo or whatever, instead of the other studio that did Fate Night in 2006. But yeah, Ufotable. There we go. Well, okay, maybe I'll go Unlimited Blade Works next and just like skip Fate Night, since it seems pretty ubiquitous that nobody likes it or thinks it's like very poor in comparison to everything else. What else have I watched recently? I think that's like all I've seen this week, right? Because I mean, same company that did Demon Slayer. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Not that computer graphic animation was that great or comparable to even 2019 CG, but like, yeah, not that I know anything about animation. But what else have I seen recently? I think the last thing that I watched before that was like a week before this week. So I watched Certain Scientific Accelerator, and I was pleasantly surprised as well. Yeah, Railgun was okay. I finished Railgun. And it was fine, right? Like it was something that you could just like put on and watch, and then like because like literally, if you see Railgun, I don't think that I'm the only one who thinks this, but each arc goes like filler for like 3 episodes. You kind of like foreshadow what's gonna go on, and then boom, you're in the middle of the action, and then the action's like pretty good, right? Once things like pick up, and it's like pretty good. So I think okay. So I watched first season of Index. And I hated Index so much. I watched the first 2 seasons of Railgun first, and then I watched Index, first season of Index, and then I watched the 3rd season of Railgun, and then I watched Accelerator. Yeah, it's partly that, right? But like also, I think I thought actually the first arc of, how do I say it? Index felt like there was more movement, right? Because Railgun is literally 2 arcs per season, and then there's like a whole bunch of filler. But Index, there was like very little filler because there was technically arcs going on all the time, right? You went from like literally the Index arc to like the one where he with the alchemist, and then like Fallen Angel arc or whatever. But yeah, it quickly got very stagnant. I think it wasn't that I don't have as much of a problem with Kamijo as most people do, right? I think people find like characters that have very straightforward like good guy motivations to be boring. I personally don't. I think that's like fine because I like to think that I can resonate with that a little bit. That's why I like Jonathan Joestar. Not that he's my favorite Joestar, but I enjoy Jonathan Joestar more than a lot of people do because they're like, oh, he's boring. But like, I don't know. Seasons 1 and 2 of Index was pretty fun. Yeah, again, right? Like, for me, Railgun peaked with the Sisters arc. If Railgun, for whatever reason, I love the Sisters arc, right? In Railgun. And if season 2 was just a Sisters arc, I think it would have been easily like a 9 out of 10 for me. But I hated the second arc. It felt like just like such bad filler. And it was just like, man, let's make an anime original part so that we could just throw a bunch of lessons that Misaka is supposed to learn, and then like have it happen, and so that she can blow something else up, and it's like, okay, cool, and bring all the characters together. And yeah, Jonathan is such a pog, right? He's like, man, but dude, Jonathan makes me so sad too. But anyways, that would spoil JoJo part 1. But Kono Dio da, right? But yeah, but after watching Railgun's Sisters arc, so the first season of Railgun I thought was just okay, right? It's something I could throw on and I can enjoy. But then watching the Sisters arc and being like hit with like emotional truck because you see what Misaka has to go through to figure that crap out. And then going back to watch Index, yeah, okay, yeah, that's the one thing that I have a problem with. So there's like this video, there's this YouTube channel from a former Korean equivalent of a Navy SEAL or whatever. And so he's like playing Call of Duty. I was watching this with my friends because they're into COD and I'm not. But he like literally he was there doing like the Modern Warfare, like going into the house, like he kills people and then he's like, I gotta double check, and literally each and every single person goes up to, he shoots them again in the head, and it keeps on going with the mission, right? He's like commentating on like where people would get shot, people would die and stuff like that. But I thought that was like funny because like literally watching Railgun was watching that happen. Misaka not double checking, and then they come back like literally 5 minutes later, and she has to like almost die for it, right? Several times. So Accelerator was better in that regards because I think Accelerator is like, you know, he's a little bit more OP, and you're a little bit more comfortable with him because he at least beats the crap out of them, right, before he does it. And so and he's shown that he's willing to kill, even though there was just one season of Accelerator, but like, you know, Bakugo voiced Accelerator. He's from My Hero Aka, I believe. I've never seen Aka, so I don't know. Is it worth getting into a world? I think it's worth if you're looking for something that's like, that'll just like take up time, that will be entertaining, right? Like you'll have like a few. I recognize Accelerator from ReZero, right? Because I watched Garfield first from ReZero, and I was like, this is totally Garfield, and it was. But I think the world is interesting. There's a lot to it, but it's just like I don't know. Index again, I didn't like very much, and I haven't watched past the first season because of that. Accelerator is like something that you can enjoy, right? That you throw on in the background, and then like every once in a while, some of the arcs will pick up. Like third season was very good. I enjoyed the third season a lot. But and the sisters arc, chef's kiss. But like everything else was like kind of like you know. I haven't seen Gintama either, but yeah. So it's something that you can get into. And Accelerator, I think it takes a little bit more like. The Accelerator is a bit darker and a bit heavier, right? Which makes sense because he's that sort of character, sort of anti-hero type of character. So yeah, I think the Railgun world is worth getting into if you're looking for something, or at least the anime, right? Just talking about the anime, not talking about like any other aspects. Like, it's worth getting into just for entertainment and not something that's too deep, or and there's enough like, you know, suspense and enough drama that keeps it going too. Good, but you have to have some knowledge of Japanese culture. Fortunately, I guess I do have some knowledge of Japanese culture because I am trying to teach myself Japanese via Genki and whatchamacallit, Yuta's basic Japanese. That Japanese man Yuta. Favorite part of the series? Which one? Railgun, or Accelerator, or Index? Because I think. Or do you mean like which segment is my favorite? Because I think overall I would say I enjoyed Accelerator the most, like as an average, simply because Railgun had a lot more filler, but Railgun has definitely peaked a lot higher than Accelerator for me on several parts. I haven't seen enough Index to, or all the Index that I've seen, I haven't liked it enough to strongly recommend it. Which segment? Yeah, so I would say Accelerator. Yeah, I think Accelerator is favorite character, Misaka Mikoto. There's no comparison. Dude, that's actually what I hate about Index the most, okay? In Index, Misaka is just like generic tsundere. In Railgun, she has character. And I'm like, dude, she's like a normal person, right? A normal person who's of a specific temperament, and like literally you see none of that in Index. In the sisters arc in Index, she's just like this girl who's crying, who's just angry at everything, and you're like, this sucks. Like if I watched Index, I would be like, Misaka sucks. She's a generic tsundere who's not even that good at being tsundere. But then in Railgun, she's actually poggers, right? Gintama has a ton of references to everything. The more about Japan you know, the better. Yeah, well, good thing I am starting to learn more Japanese, and I will be hopefully if COVID travel restrictions lift, I'll be traveling to Japan for like a week or two in this summer. So that'll be pretty fun. But tsunderes, dang. But yeah, I think if you're gonna start the Index Railgun world, you start with Railgun because Railgun's more entertaining than Index, and then once you're done that, you can just. I think in order to understand Accelerator, you need to watch like half of Index, and then you're like there, or half of the first season of Index, and then you have enough context to get Accelerator. So, yeah. There's that. What else have I been watching? I started watching WattKeys again. You know, just slowly working through it. Veldora. Yes, Veldora is the best suitor. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. But yes, I'm keeping up with Slime, right? Slime and ReZero. And I'm waiting for everything else to finish, like Horiyama and whatchamacallit, Wonder Egg, before I decide if they're binge worthy. You know, but Slime is going well, right? Slime is following the classic Slime arc. You know, things are going chill, and then all of a sudden things go south. And right now things are going south, so it's like exciting, right? ReZero is doing the typical ReZero thing. Everything's always going south, you know, except for the OVAs, and we're not on an OVA. So, nah, man. Yo, what up? Yeah, the cliffhangers. That's like half the. Okay, so do you guys prefer to watch as things come out, or binge all at one time? Wonder Egg is solid. Mushoku Tensei. Okay, I'll think about it. What's Mushoku Tensei about? Watch as it is coming out. Yeah. Read the manga. You're a true weeb. You're a true weeb, Winter. Watch as it comes out. Yeah. The OG Isekai. Oh, okay, OG. So like back from like the 80s, 90s, where people don't actually like want to stay in the world that they get sucked into and they're actually trying to get out. But yeah, binge better than weekly. I usually don't feel like wait. Yeah, see that's like First Truck-kun, dude. Oh my gosh. First Truck-kun. Dang. I usually, if I'm really into an anime, then I'll go read the manga. Or actually, no, it's like, yeah, if the anime is really good and I want more, whether it's because they're not gonna keep doing it, so like Spice and Wolf. God, rip Spice and Wolf. Every time I think about Spice and Wolf, I just want to cry because I want to see more Holo and Lawrence. But yeah, Isekai to start all Isekais. Yeah, I will. Okay, I'll check it out. Maybe I'll watch that next. Because I don't have anything on the itinerary, because I haven't decided, like, if I'm gonna play the Fate visual novel, then I don't want to watch the anime first, you know what I mean? So yeah, but yeah, I don't know whether I Spice and Wolf or whatever. Yeah, Spice and Wolf is the only anime so far that has gotten me to read the manga and start on the light novels. So so I watched Spice and Wolf in like 2 or 3 days. Then the day after, I read the entirety of the manga, and now I haven't read the light novels in a little bit. I'm on like the 11th volume of the light novels. So yeah, and we're slowly working on it. We're slowly working on it. But the 11 volume, if you read the light novels, the 11 volumes is the one that's like some of the like filler stuff after they go to Winfield or whatever. And so I'm on the chapter about Eve, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't know. Spice and Wolf was compelling, man. Spice and Wolf was really compelling. That's why Holo was my favorite Nendoroid. She's also my first Nendoroid. Have I checked out Solo Leveling? I have not. I've not read many light novels. In fact, Spice and Wolf, I will admit, is the only one that I started and the only one that I will read for a little bit. Town of Strife. Town of Strife was in Kurube, right? With like the narwhal or whatever. So it's the one after, or the arc after. When they're at the I forget what it's called, dude. When they have to sail across the strait, which is like half a chapter, and then with the golden fleece or whatever, golden sheep. So yeah. Oh man. Well, what were we talking about? We were talking about binging in weekly. Yeah, I don't know whether I like to binge or watch weekly, you know? Cause like here's the thing. If I binge, then I'm out for like a day, at least a day or two, and then my mind is still like I'm still in the recovery phase, like for a day or two after that, you know? Like when you binge a really good anime, you're like, wow, that was something else, right? Like you gotta think about it and you gotta ruminate and you think about the themes and their artwork and like the music and like the characters and stuff like. Or maybe that's just me because I overanalyze everything, which is why I talk so much about the piano. But you know, if I binge, then I'm like laid out for like half a week. If I watch as it comes out, then I still get a lot of that same excitement, but it helps pace me out a little bit more. So I'm a little bit more productive. There we go. Watch it weekly, then you wait 2 years, and then you binge it. So that's the ultimate strat. So you get both sides of the enjoyment. Yo, Fonzie, what up? What up? Yeah, binging really does hit different though, right? Because you see everything come together at once, and you can feel like pacing like more nicely, right? Yeah, episodes stay in your head when watching week. That's true. Like they're more delineated. They're more like this is what happened this time. This is what happened that time, and you're able to like, you know, think through it on that level. But yeah, I don't know. Binging, both pros and cons. I'm glad that there's anime that I can keep up with now that I can watch weekly, and that there's like old stuff too that I can just sit down and binge. Like, you know, Spice and Wolf, Evangelion. Oh my gosh, I loved Evangelion. But anyways. Do we have any videos now that we've talked sufficiently about anime? Because we can start reviewing stuff, so I don't have to stay up until like 12, as I do every week. No Game, No Life. Dude, oh my gosh. I have probably watched No Game, No Life like about 5 times through. Just because I'm like, I don't feel like starting anything new. And I need something that's like entertaining and to take my mind off of stuff. And I'll just throw it on, and then like 2 hours later, I'm like, wait, hold on, I just watched like 5 episodes in half the season. So, yeah. No Game, No Life. Man. The weeb energy is strong today. The weeb energy is really strong. It's way stronger than the piano energy. Honestly though, it's definitely something I can't watch in the family room. That is very true. But I mean, low-key Spice and Wolf isn't either at the beginning. I want to review your video first. Sure, I can. Yeah, am I just doing piano channels? Yeah, unfortunately, I wanna be of actual use when I'm reviewing things, and I can't say much about, you know, an instrument that's not piano, violin, or stringed instruments in general, or voice. And with voice, this is like very, very little. So yeah, and obviously piano's my expertise. So yeah, dude, double flat. I teach you now. I think we can review your stuff when we yeah, we can review another channel, definitely. What do you want me to look at? Unless someone else who's in the chat has a video that they want me to review. SLS? We can talk about SLS. Yeah. Haruwa Yuku. Oh, okay. Again, but this is the last call. This is the last call. If anyone else has anything that they want me to review, that's here before I go on to SLS's stuff, because we're just gonna fanboy over SLS for a while. Yeah. Oh, right, I forgot. I mentioned this last week, and I'm gonna mention it again. Saw my Moonlight Sonata third movement the other day. Thanks, dude. I thought that one of the criticisms that I would get for Moonlight Sonata was that it was too slow, because I honestly feel like it should be like at least 3 clicks faster, 3 or 5 clicks faster, but I just couldn't manage it at the time. I don't know if I can manage it now either, but you know, Moonlight Sonata is one of those that like just sticks with you in a different way, even though it's like somewhat slightly overplayed and everyone wants to learn it. So Fate Stay Night, yeah, Haruwa Yuku. Okay, well, since we're not getting nothing else, let's go take a look at SLS's Haruwa Yuku. Let me pull it up on YouTube, on the tubes, you know. Oh, it's an Eimer song. I should have known that. Alright. Tried playing the Ishido's Classic Sky on my channel. Having it too hard. It was too hard. Yeah, it's all good, dude. Dude, just take your time. Take your time and go slow. You ever tried playing Animes Unravel? That's a good question. I mean, I've slight read it a little bit, right? But I don't... See, okay, I said this last week, and I'll say it again. I don't feel particularly connected to Unravel. I don't feel particularly connected to Tokyo Ghoul, because I haven't seen it, which I will see at some point, right? So, it's like a really cool piece, but to me, it's just like any other really advanced piece, like a Rock 3, or like, you know, it's like some of the Chopin etudes, like the Waterfall etude. Like, I enjoy it, and sure, I'll pick it up at some point, and I'll learn it at some point, but it's not like, you know, I have to learn it. Which brings me to the sub goal, right? 500 subs. I'm gonna be spending 6 hours here learning Animes Unravel. So that's the motivation. I think that's the motivation for me at the moment. So yeah, I heard the first season of Tokyo Ghoul was good, but the second season was not as much. But who knows? I'll go see it when I see it. So, anyways, let's get to it. Let's get to actual stuff now. All right, let's make sure that the volume is fine. All right, my mic looks fine, and the piano looks fine too. All right, cool. Just have to turn it up a little bit for myself. All right. Here we go. Tokyo Ghoul. Anime was disappointing. This sucks. Second season diverged from manga. Yo, stuff that diverges from manga, hit or miss, right? Like I heard No Game No Life diverged kind of heavily at some points from the light novels, and I think the ending of No Game No Life diverges heavily from the light novels as well. Based on what I've read, not that I've read the novels themselves, but you know, it worked out in No Game No Life. So, Tokyo Ghoul is sad. Yeah, maybe we'll check it out. But anyways, oh yeah, I have sheets for this. I should pull up the sheets. Give me a sec. Let me see. Yeah, I have to set the mindset, I guess. What am I doing? Am I critiquing SLS? Am I fanboying SLS? I don't know. Because he's better than me. So, we'll see. I feel like if I trash anyone who's better than me, then it's like, lol, this is gonna come back and bite me in the butt. But anyways, here goes. Ooh. Oh, those rolls. Let me go back. Is everything balanced okay? Like the piano and like in my voice. Critique and give honest opinion. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, I did poorly. Yeah, okay, everything's good. Cool. So the first thing that I noticed is that his rolls are kind of off. It's like, I feel like with something as delicate as this, right, with a pianissimo, this sort of like very, you know, he has the piano set very bright, like a very tinkly sort of sound. You want to hear each and every individual note, and he smudges it a little bit, which, you know, is unfortunate because he picks it up later. It sounds like, so it sounds like it wasn't intentional, but that's the first thing that sticks out. Yeah, like there we go. Like those two, like the, which makes sense because he's moving relatively quickly compared to everything else, which is why there's less time to think. Perhaps one thing that could help, which he does for the first few, is to emphasize the bottom note a little bit more so that you set the stage for where you're going. So it's almost like a point that he like pushes off of in order to get to the next one. Let us know what he did well too. Oh my, y'all know me now. I fanboy when I want to fanboy, and I critique when I want to critique. So basically, anything that you guys send me, I roast, and then everything that I get from animens or whenever I watch animens, I just fanboy. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. we do whatever. But yeah. I'm like, hold on. Sorry, I'm like trying to compare something that clipped. Dang. Thanks, dude. Oh, do you mean clipped as in I clipped, or like you clipped me? Cause I don't know what you mean by that, Fonzie. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed is like, I think he's got the levels really nice, right? From the both hands and whatever. But I think because of the nature of playing such large chords, it necessitates him being unable to connect as well as he wants to. Gosh, I tried to set up my webcam as like an overhead camera and it didn't work today, so I'll figure that out next time so I can demonstrate more clearly. But because he has to stretch like this, there's a little bit of difficulty to get this like singing sort of da 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 that you can get if you were able to utilize the entirety of your hand with a. Sorry, like that, right? So that's like one of the things that I think he could perhaps do a little bit better with the fourth and fifth fingers, but it's like reasonably well done, given the difficulty. And again, I'm not saying any of this as though I would do better. So. And again, of course, as usual, not critiquing the arrangement because I'm not good enough in music theory to talk through enough things to do that. There we go. You hear the bum 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 ba-da-dum, right? It's almost like the phrase ends there, but then there's like this chord at the end. What's that? What do we want to call that? I don't even know. It's like a third or yeah, because we go anyways, a sixth chord or whatever. And it's just like hanging there, and it just like rings a little bit because we've already ended, but then there's like a little bit of an afterthought, and so it's like several layers below, which is really, really nice on his part. Yo, Halcyon's here too. What the heck? So many people here on my stream now. I feel like such a big deal now. With that and all the subs that have been rolling in the past few days, like Animens, that Animens is really carrying me. You know, riding the coattails of Animens. Got any advice for treating hand strains or any personal experience with it? It's not so much irritation, but I get some tingles on the back of my wrist, so I'm kind of worried. Yeah, so I think the biggest thing that I've experienced with regards to that is, as I mentioned probably a few streams ago, of like over winter break for me, I got a series of really bad migraines, and as a result, I thought that because migraines do all tons of like weird stuff to your hands, right, and your whole body. Like some people feel like they're having strokes, some people feel like they are going like spastic or whatever. But for me, what happened was both my wrists and both my hands started tingling really, really bad, as though I had like carpal tunnel or whatever. So I got really, really scared. It's obviously different from what you're experiencing because this was like a neurological thing that persisted for a few days. You simp for Watt. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. But like, yeah, I think the first thing I would say is when you're first take a break, right? It's better to take a break and come back later than to actually hurt yourself and have to be forced to take a break. That's indefinite or leads to permanent damage, right? So fifth with this C at the bottom. Oh. Gosh, I'm so bad at chords. I'm like just learning figured bass now, and I'm starting to like, I'm going through like a whole bunch of my sheet music and just like writing in figured bass and like chord patterns and stuff like that, just to get used to it and to help myself with like memory and like figuring things out. So, but anyways, coming back to the wrist injury, take a break, right? Take it slow. If you feel tingling, I would say, again, notice how your hands are positioned, right? Make sure that you're not like straining out, right? You're not straining your hands outwards. You're not clenching in, right? Your arms are relatively like at your side, right? They're not tucked into your body like this, but they're not held up like this. Actually, very interesting. I had a conversation with a PhD, like a piano teacher who has a PhD in like pedagogy this past Wednesday for like an hour, and we talked about Taubman. We talked about Music 170 vibes. That's right, Colin. You know it. But we talked about Taubman. We talked about like proper playing technique and Abby Whiteside and teaching and stuff, and Alexander technique. If you guys heard of that before, I still don't know what Alexander technique is. Perhaps Halcyon knows. But we talked a lot about that, and one of the things that really stuck out to me that I never really considered before is thinking of your body as one giant unit, right? And so this is, I'm getting off on a tangent here, but it's kind of important, right? Because we're talking about playing technique and how to be able to play for a long time. So right now I'm sitting too low, right? So I'm going to raise the chair, but I'm not really playing all that much, so I think it's okay. But anyways, everything is built from the ground up, right? As a pianist, no, I'm too high, and my head's getting cut off from the frame. But as a pianist, I think a lot of times we only think of what are my arms doing? So my upper arm, my forearm, my wrist, and my hand, right? But really, your posture is built from the ground up. How are your feet situated, right? How's your core situated? How are you braced? Are your lats like relaxed, but like slightly pulling your shoulder back? And are your shoulders relaxed and not moving forward like this? And are your pecs relaxed as well, right? When you're playing, and all these things, right? Like postural elements form the groundwork, the foundation from which you play from. And so that's something that I would perhaps encourage you to take a look at, right? I know I have a habit of leaning forward and playing like this, a little bit hunched over, but like, are you able to like, it's almost like supermaning your chest or getting ready for a push-up or like doing a bench press, right? And not quite as tense, right? But like, are you able to sit up with like decent posture, right? With relaxed shoulders? And then like, is everything then from your arm down like aligned in like, I'm trying to see if I can demonstrate this, aligned like in like, it's almost like an equal plane, and especially from the forearm onwards. Like, are your hands like relatively like curved so that there's like enough springiness in your fingers? And are you clenching or tightening your wrists at any points, right? And then where are you initiating movement from? Are you only initiating from your fingers? Because if you are, that's pretty bad. Are you initiating only from your arm, or are you like your upper arm like this, or from your forearm? Or are you doing something with your shoulder? All these things play into how your hands interact with the keyboard and how your body plays the piano, and how overuse then leads to injury. So that's what I would say, right? Become more mindful first and foremost of what your entire body is doing, as opposed to just thinking about, oh, my wrist is tingling a little bit. And yes, you should worry about that, right? Because that's where a lot of times the problem is, but also worry about everything else too, and think about and be cognizant of the rest of your posture. And of course, take it slow. Hopefully that gives you somewhat of an answer, right? If you're looking for the specific wrist posture, yeah, this should be relatively flat. Your arms should be not like tight to your side, not up, right? But relaxed, and there's a little bit of like, it's a little bit raised, and there's a little bit of movement and give and take. But yeah, beyond that, that's like, you have to feel it out for yourself. Unfortunately, since I'm unable to see how you're playing. But anyways, getting back to this. Thanks, yay, I appreciate it. Look who's talking. Wow, so many people here tonight. It's like people want to hear me talk about other people play piano. Since I guess people do sub for that reason now. Yeah, no problem, Michael. Ooh, interesting. So I don't, okay. I'm a little bit uncertain about this decision to cross hands. I'll have to hear this again. Because looking at the score, it looks a little bit unnecessary. But at the same time, like crossing hands, you cross hands because it's either easier to play something with your hands crossed, or it gives you a certain tonality, right? Because again, your heavier fingers are in the middle of the keys, or towards the middle of the keys, or in the middle voices, sorry. And heavier fingers are able to play louder, and frequently the important voices are not in the middle. So is his risk too high? What do you mean? Or is his wrist too high? I mean, he looks like he's playing fine. Like here he's playing fine. Of course when you cross you're gonna have to do some funky stuff, right? And I mean, like, sure, if you want to critique like perfect form, right? The push in, maybe don't raise your wrist, but you're only doing it at that push in. There's like really no tension or like stress being put into your wrist. The danger comes when you're like, your wrist is clenched like this and you're like pushing it with like a fortissimo like that, right? That's very dangerous. Or if you're doing it all the time, right? Like if you, and your wrist is like always tense and the entire etude you're playing like that. That's like the big risk. But here is very delicate, right? And he's only done it once. And so, unless he's practicing this motion over and over again. But he's not, because he doesn't do anything else like this. Yeah. And see, even with this, his hand is like flat, right? It's not like it's bent out of position or whatever. Yeah, so the only reason that I can really think of for switching hands here is so that he can get the articulation in the upper voice, but I don't know. I feel like it can be done hands uncrossed, but that's just me. He's secretly left-handed. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's why I had to cross. But yeah. So again, not a wrong decision. I don't critique the decision because he's clearly going for something, but I wouldn't do it for myself, or it wouldn't occur to me as an option. And perhaps that's my weakness, you know. So this is something that I was listening for, kind of like absentmindedly since I was looking for a spot, since I was looking at the video. But what I noticed that the level changes a little bit towards the end with the right there. The level changes, but the rest of it feels relatively the same. So right. So the energy changes because he jumps the octave, right? But he can also opt to vary the energy by raising it slightly within that, you know, mezzo forte range. And that's I almost felt like it was a tiny bit missing, right? The voicing is fine. I really enjoy the voicing, but it felt like there was a little bit something that I was just like, oh, like I wish he did, right? And that's just raised the dynamic a little bit to have it stand out a little bit more. But I really like the left hand pattern here, right? You can hear bum, right? He's playing to a note. He's playing dum ba da da dum, right? He's not just bum ba 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 bum, right? It's not just like all like individual units. He has like as the slur indicates, right? As the slur indicates, and he plays the slurs, which is good. See, there's the drop that I was looking for. Like each one of these phrases feel a little bit too homogenous, but that's, you know, that's just me. Left hand pair in 28. Dang. It's not like Chopin, like rock stuff, like what the heck. Some Liszt. I think I've seen that in like his Cortot, like Bach variations or whatever. Wow, this is so good. I'm like getting goosebumps listening to this. So I think this is really pretty. It's really nice. It's like, dang. If I were to criticize, first I think I would say maybe it's just my set of headphones or whatever, or my playback system, but I have pretty decent headphones, so I don't know. But it sounds a little, the mix sounds a little bit thick, so I think a little bit of like low mid range can be cut so that it's a little bit more articulate, because I feel like it's getting a little bit lost. But that's just me. That's just me. You're glad I liked it? Thanks, I guess. Well, I mean, you're working on this double flat, so I hope that you're able to pull through and do it. But anyways, this, I think one of the things that stand out is, again, when I talk about playing with direction, it's really hard to have this, it is a bit homogenous, but it's really hard to, when you're at this like top level dynamic, right? Especially when you're on a digital keyboard, in my opinion, right? One of my biggest frustrations with this keyboard when I was practicing when I was at school and I didn't have like anything else, is that like once you get to like, I would practice Chopin Ballade in G minor since I just love Chopin Ballade in G minor, just play through. But like once you get to like on an actual instrument, it feels like I can vary the amount of weight that I'm pushing in. So like this is something big, and then this is something more, and it's almost like I can keep asking the piano and coaxing the piano to give me more and more. Like that's actually one of the beauties of playing a 9-foot grand, that you don't get out of a smaller piano. And I've been fortunate enough to play like 2 or 3 times on a 9-foot concert grand, like Steinway and Busendorfer. But like you just, it just feels like the piano just is able to give you more and more and more, like more tone, more volume, just like more, right? But like when you're playing a digital piano and you max out on velocity, like your velocity is set to 100, like what else can you do? You don't have much more space to go up and down, right? You can't eke out that last little bit of fortissimo that your piano can give you if it was acoustic, right? So I think that's part of the problem that's happening here, right? Right, or whatever, yeah. So it's like, it's very homogeneous because he's having difficulty at a very strong forte. But in general, yeah, as you said, double flat. The phrasing needs to be a little bit different because it gets a little bit stale. But I mean, the melody really does carry. Like the rhythmic elements and the harmonic elements carry this very well. Yeah, that's really good. Where am I? I lost my spot. Yeah. So okay, here. This is the best way to say it, is if da ba bum bum, right? It feels chunky. It feels a little bit chunky. Yeah. It may be just a digital piano. Yeah, but like either ways, it feels a little bit chunky. And it's like, it's almost like Animan's chunky, right? Animan's is like the what was a good example, like, or like very very like blocky sort of, or blockier sort of phrasing, whereas for me it's like, I prefer to draw more of a line, over it. But like here, he's playing a little bit chunkier, right? Like it sounds like I can hear each and every single note, and each and every single note almost feels like its own thing. So, yeah. But that's just me. I like to draw lines, like big lines, paint a picture without lifting my pen, type of thing, right? Yeah, I don't like blocky phrasing. Again, that's just my personality and my ear and my taste. So I will recognize when it's chunky, but it's like, it's a feel. It's a vibe that somebody wants to go for when it's done well, right? Animans does it well, I think, and I think SLS does it pretty well too. So it's just, some of the dynamics. I've lost my spot again. Oh, there we go. This is like it's almost like fuguish. What form of phrasing is my favorite? you know, very melodic, very continuous, long lines, almost like a Schubert impromptu. Right, you know, polytones are freaking insane. Yes, sir. Like, it's like you love to see it, right? There's the I talk about the 3 layers a lot, right? Like 3 layers of voicing, 3 layers, because they're all carrying different melodic information. But it's not necessarily that each and every single time those layers will carry a motif, right? If what we call a motif, right, is something that's like a main melody that comes up. And I think I always get the difference between theme and motif mixed up, right? I think themes are much longer, right? Because I mean, sonatas have like, you know, your basic sentence structure or whatever, and then the whole thing's like a freaking theme. But anyways, you have a motif, da 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 dum, right, in the alto, and then you have bum bum or whatever, bum bum, right, da da dum ba da dum, and the motif repeats in the alto several times, and so it makes this layering even more important, I think, right, where in like a perhaps a different piece or a different arrangement where there is just important notes, I would call them more important notes, right, in the bass line, perhaps like hearing the bass ring or like hearing some of the movement in the alto, like those are more important notes, but this is actually carrying a motif. So layering is super important here, which is he's doing pretty well. Like you can hear the 3 layers pretty well, and also to help with that too, right, having stuff very wide on the frequency spectrum, very spread apart on the piano, helps with layering too, because they're not fighting for each other as much in the same frequency range. So, and that's how I think as an audio engineer sometimes, and not as a pianist. This might be part of it, right? One of the things that I wish that he was doing, and I think is contributing to the way that he's phrasing, is because he's not holding the notes, right? He, like, let's go back and watch a little bit. I need to find my spot again. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Okay, so like his hand comes up every single time. He looks like he needs to practice without sustain. Yeah, it looks like the slur here. So it sounds different, right? When you're playing a forte, connecting the notes versus not connecting notes. And obviously here there's some stuff that you can't connect, right? Like it's how do you connect this? Like you would slide, right? But perhaps for the sake of control, he doesn't want to slide in order to maintain the fortissimo or forte or whatever he lifts, right? But he's playing without pedal, right? Right, and the jumps. But it would sound different, right? If he sustained like. It necessitates, because he's connecting notes. If he were to connect the notes, it would necessitate a certain type of phrasing. It would necessitate a certain touch, and it would necessitate playing that slur much more pronounced as a slur. And so, again, that's not to say that connecting here is easy, but it's literally like this quarter note right here, he lifted like after an eighth and then like came down like that. And so I would like to see, you know, like hold this for longer. And then, like, at the last, try to connect. Like, even just the thought of connecting, just the thought of gluing it together helps with, you know, whatever. And helps with some of that phrasing. But, is it difficult to hold notes for long periods of time? Yeah, sure, but, like, I mean, how do I say it? The fraction of a second, right, of difference at, like, holding the note is... Here, let's just watch the video. Let me describe the video. Like again, I feel like I'm gonna roast him really hard. That's not my intent, but unfortunately, we're describing a aspect of technique that I am not too pleased with. The only thing that I am like not happy with this performance is this. Okay, there we go, right? Why write a slur when you're gonna play it like blocky and jump like an inch off the keys? I don't get that. Like, I think it sounds like it should be da da ba da 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 da, right? But instead it's like bum 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 bum. Like the phrasing is just different. Okay, yeah, same thing there, right? Does it go 4/5 or does it go 5/5? He goes 5/5. It looks like he goes 5/5. So like perhaps go 4/5 to help with some of that connecting. That was really good. So like here from start from measure 58, this is incredible, right? But like before that, it's almost like, you know, measure 58 onwards, how good it is, or at least just this part, makes me think that like, yeah, the connecting this bit before is even more important, because you're drawing that contrast between all of a sudden these jumps, right? Doing jumps inherently makes your playing more percussive, inherently makes it more rhythmic, and so it's like, if he connected very well, like more smoothly before, then it would create that textural contrast between the two, even if he was holding the pedal. But he doesn't. And so this is I guess, again, the main gripe with this playing so far. It's like, here we go, right? Like it's like there's, I feel like there, like every time I still don't know what the chord is because my ear training is still bad and I still can't tell what chords are. I can only tell intervals so far, but like da 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 da, it almost feels tender, right? Like that's a melody that like wants to be like almost like how do I say? It's like one of those. It's like what 72. It's like when Kosei's mother tells him that you have to play the piano like you're gently touching the baby's head. It's like one of those, right? When you like there's this like very bittersweet, melancholic like turn of the melody and the harmony, and it's like, yeah. So, anyways. I wish that there was a little bit more phrasing with something like that, so that it's not just always peaking at a fortissimo. Yeah, there's gonna be crescendo. And this soft stuff he plays fine. Left pedal, nice. With that run. I like that. 64th notes. The left hand carries a very interesting and important melody. Everything in that bridge was incredible, and like now if you want to play chunky and like each note pounded in, this is the place to do it. It felt like he peaked the first time the chorus came around, or the first time this section came around. So now it's like Yeah, sure. Okay, there's contrast, so it still feels like another mountaintop, but like it could feel more, right? It could be more, you know. Spelling's fine. It sounds fine. I mean, I'm not. I don't think that there's too much mush. Again, it's a little bit difficult to tell because I think the mixing could be a little bit more clear, but like that's again my own personal preference, and my hearing is like kind of garbo, but you're lying. Everyone did this. Yeah, I mean it's an analogy that most of us know, I think, or or saying that most of us know. Oops. Yeah, like this is the place that it needs to be pounded in, right? If it's going to be pounded in. There we go. See, that whole section was great, right? He just played his hand. He just revealed his hand too early. IMO, just to create a bit of that like textural contrast between the choruses, you know? Yeah, nice. Yeah, alright. So I suppose the lesson for today with SLS is that what a baller at writing arrangements, right? I love the left hand, I don't want to say patterns, but like the motifs that it carries, right? And like the things that it's like trying to say, even though it's only left hand. But I think some of the phrasing can be a little bit better, especially done by the touch, by actually connecting the notes. And if only for the sake of leaving that texture that comes up the first time he plays this like for the end, so that it creates even more of that like shock factor, or like more of that build, right? So voicing in polytones, yeah. I mean, it's really good. Like he's got the baseline voicing down. I say he's got the baseline voicing down as though like, yo, he's got miles to go. No, he's fine, right? It's very good. And he's got voicing down. He's got like good phrasing, right? Like with the dynamics, at least, at the very least, right? With dynamic changes, it's just like, you know, I just wish he connected his notes and phrased it a little bit differently, because it's very, very homogenous in a lot of places. Dynamically, he's blocky, but near the ending, it was definitely well done. Yeah, again, right? Like the ending, like you can do that for the ending, right? Because you're repeating the same thing. We've heard this chorus once before. It becomes a question of how do you make it different. And sure, you can play exactly the same. A lot of times, I think you can get away with playing exactly the same if it's done well. But like, why not make it different? Why not make it different, right, when you can? So, anyways, that was my review of SLS. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I see there's still 10 people here, so at the very least, some people enjoyed it. And all I know is that Double Flat is all over my chat, and nobody else is. No, I'm kidding. But let's go back to this. There we go. So I can bring this back over here so I can see people. Lurk. Exactly. No, there's like 10 or 11 people here, I think. 69. Oh yeah, you know it. Nah, but anyways. Is your name pronounced Kueos? Kueos? Dang. I don't know. But thanks for stopping by, dude. Appreciate it. I might have to change out my camera battery soon, though. Yeah. Here. You guys give me... Kiwios. There we go. Nice. Alright. Give me a sec. I'm changing out my camera battery so it doesn't die on me while I'm, like, halfway through. It's crazy. Fonzie and Halcyon both showed up. Yeah, it is. It is. It's like... interesting. I would have freaked out. Yeah. The strat is to only freak out internally. No, I'm messing. But yeah. Big mood, big mood. Interesting. I'm getting thrown an error. Let me try to figure it out real quick. Give me a sec, team. think we're back. That was really weird. And a little bit scary, if I do say so myself. Cause, you know, my camera. Let's see. Focus. But yeah. No, about the comment about Fonzie and Halcyon. Yeah, big ups for them to showing up. But, you know, honestly, what got me into anime piano? Let me think. It was one of them, I think. Because I mean, I went to college and I stopped playing for, like, as I said, like several times, like a year or two, or a year and a half, like actually playing, right? Like, and then, so my friend, I don't know if he's in chat, Elijah, was like, hey, you should play Giorno's theme. It's like, I'll play Giorno's theme, like, and I started learning Fonzie's cover, and that's why I got back into, or that's how I started getting back into it a little bit. So, you know, like. It's like whatever. But yeah, I wish my ear training was a little bit better. You know, if I knew that I would be doing this when I was 10 years old, I would tried so much harder in music and solfege and stuff like that, but I didn't, so now I have to learn it myself. But Kimi no Uso, yeah, that was really good as well. I liked it a lot, because I know, as you all may know by now, I started getting into like watching anime and stuff like this past spring, and it was, I think, was Fonzie doing it around that time, or was it a year ago? But yeah, it was really good, and I was like, dang, you know, like listening to it again, and like Kimi no Uso, Watashi no Uso, right? Sorry, it was Watashi no Uso, yeah. So, yeah, pretty baller. Karunara. Yeah. So, anyways. What's next? What do we want to see next? More me reacting to videos, or do you guys want to chat? I've got enough energy to go until 11:30 today, I think. Your Lion April vibes. Very true. Dang. You know, it's still surreal to me, you know, how many views that one video is getting, because it was completely unexpected. Well, not completely unexpected. I knew it would do better than most of my other videos, simply because of how the thumbnail was and like title into content, right, of animens. But Hayashi piano critique, y'all are just like asking me to throw shade at like everyone else. This is why I've only reviewed like people that have come on stream so far, Double Flat, is so that I don't look like I'm throwing shade at someone without them being able to defend why they're doing what they're doing. I'm messing. Unless Hayashi's still around, then I'd be down. Aaron, yo, what's up, dude? What's up? Yeah, but if Hayashi's still here, I'll do a Hayashi piano critique. But he's not, then I mean, I can still do a Hayashi piano critique. Go review someone else doing a review. Yo, we should review someone else doing a review. Somebody throw in a title in the chat, so I won't be. I'm not the one technically choosing the video. I'd be like, my stream made me do it. Yeah, but. Review the Ishtar's reviews. Oh yeah, Ishi gives good insight. I really enjoy watching his Unravel and My Dearest reviews. Actually, we can do some of that if there's nothing else that you guys want me to listen to. But yeah, because he gives it from a very he thinks of it. It seems like he thinks of things from an arrangement perspective and from like a little bit of like a bit of a playing perspective, but it's like very specific to him, right? Or more specific to him. And it's like the way it's yeah, Ishtar is harsh but true. Yeah, he is. I mean, Stop playing Unravel, right? I think that's a good word. You know, less people should be playing Unravel. It's my favorite thing now. Like every time I see another Unravel video, I'm like, the Ishtar would beg to differ. But yeah, cause it's like, you know, to me, like just reading through the score for Unravel and listening to it and stuff like that. Review Pan Piano. Does she deserve reviews? That's another can of worms that I'm not opening right now. But you know, like thinking about like Unravel, there's a lot of stuff in there that reminds me of the what's it called? The second half of Hungarian Rhapsody number 2, bum, 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 with like the jumps and stuff like that, right? And it's like, yeah, I don't think I would tell anyone who is like 1 or 2 years into playing piano, or even 3 or 4 or 5, unless I was really confident of their technique, to go and try that piece, right? And then try and play it in tempo. Like that's just a recipe for disaster in a lot of ways. So, you think she deserves reviews? Yeah, I mean, okay. I guess, I feel like if I give an opinion on this, then like people are gonna be like, WattKeys things. You know, I think all I gotta say is YouTube is a game, YouTube is a system. If you figure out how to beat the system, then good job, right? Like we're all playing with the same rules. It's like if you guys watch Smash, right? Whatchamacallit? Super Smash Bros. Melee. So this is a very niche example, so this might not apply to anyone who doesn't actually watch Pro Smash. But like everyone hates on Hungrybox, and Hungrybox doesn't even play that defensively. He plays very aggressively. He plays Jigglypuff, right? But it's like in the game that he's allowed to camp and time someone out, and so he does that every once in a while. And it's like, well, you gotta change the rules if you don't want someone to beat the game that way, right? And so Pan is beating the algorithm, or winning on the algorithm by doing something like this, right? And it's like, okay, sure, you know, she's doing it, right? And obviously, I'll quote Harris Heller on this. Yeah, she knows what people want, and she's not. And to be fair, right? Like, I think even once in a while when I go watch a Pan Piano video, you know, like, yeah, Ishii. We need to see more Ishii. No, but like, her comment section are not full of people that are from this community, right? Like people who listen to, yeah, there's some cross pollination from like animens and stuff like that, but like, it's a lot of people that aren't like musically, I hesitate to say musically educated, right? Or like super into music or whatever, right? But it's like that sort of crowd, right? And so she even appeals to a different audience, right, than a lot of other people. Yeah, and but to be fair, right, to quote Harris Heller on this, streamer, you know, professional streamer on Twitch, and does like a lot of content creation and stuff like that, and has like a YouTube channel, Alpha Gaming, that's all based around like how to help people grow their streams, which I watch a lot, because I guess I'm a streamer now, right? I'm a streamer. I need to grow the stream. Anyways, it's like what he says is you need more than just one thing to make it on the internet. You need 2 or 3 things to make it on the internet, like full time, right? If you want to do something full time on the internet, you gotta have at least 2 or 3 things, because just having looks isn't enough to cut it, right? And Pan Piano, despite all the flack she gets for writing really, or not even playing her own arrangements sometimes, or playing very simple arrangements, she executes quickly and she executes pretty well. So her playing is actually surprisingly solid. It's not something that I'm gonna be like sitting here and be like, wow, that was a masterpiece, right? By no means, but it's like, you know, it's solid and is there. So, and I believe that she was a piano teacher, been to conservatory, right, at some point. So, makes sense. So yeah, I don't know, like how I like to think about these things, quickly, efficiently, and with style. Exactly. She's got 3 things. She got 3 things going for her, right? She's very consistent on the uploads. She plays consistently well, and she's got the thumbnails and I guess the appearance, the physical appearance. Unfortunately, I am not. I cannot do that, right? But we got great WattKeys merch, right? Maybe the WattKeys merch will now get the people to comment. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's just how it is, right? And like, what use is there looking at someone else, right? And comparing, right? It's so easy. I find myself doing this too, right? Like I can compare myself to any one of you guys, right? All of you watching my stream right now, with the exception of perhaps like Hayashi, Fonzie, Halcyon, if they're still here, right? are all within like 100, 200, 300 subs of me. And so I could spend all my time thinking, how am I going to pass this person? How am I going to pass that person? Why is this person has more subs than me? When I play better, when I put more time and effort into it, when I do X, Y, and Z, right? But what use is that of me? Why don't I just focus on getting better for myself, streaming better, right? So that I can connect with you guys more, writing better arrangements for myself so that I am more fulfilled as an artist, and just being, you know, like a better person, better YouTuber, better everything, right? One thing at a time. And so it's like, yeah, we can talk about Pan, and we could be like, what does Pan deserve her stuff? And sure, that's an interesting conversation, right? You can talk about that with like any number of people. Does Animens deserve his views? He doesn't put that much effort into his thumbnails. I mean, like Hayashi probably puts more time into his thumbnails than Animens does, right? Does he deserve the clicks? You know, since Animens is just literally milking the lead that he has on all of us since he started in 2012 or whatever. Like, we could talk about it that way too, or we could focus on getting better for ourselves. And again, this is not to say that the conversation's like completely useless or pointless. It's just that with the frequency that is brought up, it's like, you know, sometimes let's move on to something else and let's focus on things that are within our control. You know, like forming a community. That's something that I really appreciate, right? I really appreciate the fact that every week I can come on and stream and like maybe like, well, now that I got like 20 subs in 1 week, like about 10% of my subscribership shows up, right, and listens, and I get to engage with you guys. I talk to you guys on Discord, and it's like, you know, it really feels like a community. And I'd rather have a community like this at 120 subs, 150 subs, 200 subs than like a community of like 1.8 million where everyone just like shows up and simps for me because they like the way that I look, right? And I don't really know any of them, right? And they don't really know me. So anyways, I guess those are my thoughts. I guess I can have more, I can give more nuanced thinking on it too, right? In a more private setting. I prefer to keep some of that, like my thinking, right? Me trying to nuance through things off the public eye, you know? I don't want people to simp for me. No, it's like, I'd rather go beyond that, right? Like, first off, I don't think I'm very simp worthy, right? I'm a very normal person. I'm not a normal person. The more I think about it, the more I think I'm weird, right? Beyond simping. No, it's like, there's a simp, right? And then there's like the friend. I'd rather think of my community as friends rather than just simps, you know? Curios, get your mind out of the gutter. No, I'm kidding. But you know how it be. I'd rather have actual personal connection, as much personal connection as possible, as opposed to, you know, just a community of people that just simp. Yeah, there's simping and then there's true love, right? True love. Simping is like, whatchamacallit? Ooh, yeah. Simping's like a. Ooh, there we go. It's almost like a manipulative senpai knows me sort of love, right? It's like, you know, I'm simping for you, so please notice me, please give me some attention. But then there's like real love, right, where you actually genuinely care about the other person, and you're doing it because you don't necessarily need or even desire the response, right? You just care about the other person for the sake of caring for the other person. And so yeah, that's what we're going for. And I hope that there's something that you guys can agree with too, right? Like, it helps that you, at the very least, right, these streams, and this is not to bash like anyone else around my like subscriber count, right? But it helps that I show up every week and I get to at least communicate with everyone, right? Compared to some of your guys' channels, which is perfectly fine, right? You just want to play, that's completely fine. But for me, a guy who's thinking about doing this, trying to do this for long term, right? And trying to do this, perhaps even like have it be a part of my music career, full-time music career, if I'm able to pull it off once I get through college, it's like something that's very, very invaluable, right? To forming a really strong community of people that enjoy what I do and connect with me and care about me in essence, right? Even as I hopefully show that I care about you by giving back, by reviewing your playing, by putting out videos to help you, and by hopefully sharing my heart a little bit, you know, on stream and through my music. So anyways, that got really philosophical for a moment. It got really philosophical. Yeah. I need a sip. I need a sip, dude. But it's not like you said I need a simp. I need a simp. Nah, I'm fine, dude. But, anyways. I'm still, yeah, we don't have water here? What the heck? Why don't you have water? You need water. Stay hydrated, my guy. But, yeah. Oh, this is a slow week. We only simp, not water. We only have simp, not water. Winter storm. You're from Texas? What the heck? Dang. Yeah, Texas be wildin'. Oh, you got a storm in Texas. That's kind of nutty. Are you like northern Texas or like southern? Okay. Yeah, cause I mean, the entire place froze over. I'm guessing that Texas is not used to something like this, which is why it's even worse. Cause yeah, it's pretty sucky. But hey, at least you got internet, right? You're here. You got school over a week and a half. Dang. Wish I could get out of school. Yo, got to skip a chem exam? Dang, dude. You know, from Northeast, so I'm from like the Philly area. It's like, yeah, exactly. Like stuff getting cold, stuff freezing over. It's like, yo, keep going to school, right? When I went to, what was it, like 2 years ago, I think, as a freshman in college. So I stayed within the area, right? I go to a school in Philadelphia. Texas is always boiling. That's why it's surprising when stuff freezes. But like, you know, there was a snowstorm, right? And we got classes canceled like literally like the morning of, and it was literally because there was like 6 inches of snow coming down on the ground, and and that's weak for people in Canada, right? That's weak for people in Canada and like the Northeast, even further north. But like, you know, it was kind of nutty. Last time we got snow was in 2017. Dang, it's been a hot sec. It's been like 4 years for you. Oh, here's a big question, right? Do you like snow? Right? I don't know. What are people's opinions here on snow? Because I feel like snow is a bit divisive. I feel like the older you get, the less you like snow. Yeah, absolutely. But, yeah. Got to sled with the boys? Dang. You never seen snow in person? Keanu, you need to come out to the East Coast, my man. Through cardboard boxes? That's what people were doing down the main main walk on my campus. Or I wasn't there, right, since I live off campus right now, but they told me, and I'm like, dang, cardboard boxes? They pulled up signs, you know, and we're doing that too. But I guess that's what happens when you never get snow. You never have a sled around, right? Took the wheels off their skateboards and tried snowboarding. Dang, yo, y'all are hardcore. Keanu, we are doing a collab at some point. You're flying out, and you will see snow. Banana shaped pool floating. Oh, so like the tubes. Yo, the ghetto snow toys vibe is strong in Texas. But yeah, anyways. Wait, Keanu, when was your last video? I forget. That was like a week or two ago, right? I remember listening to it and I was like, dang, this kid's gotten better. Keeps getting better. What the heck? I wish I could improve as fast as Keanu. But yeah, man. Yeah, Keanu always does get better. It's kind of a couple days. Why did I think it was a few weeks? I mean, I'd be down to listen to it. We just want to run through real quick. But I remember listening to it and being like, yeah, like, dang, left hand loads better, right? Sure, some of the technical things, like, still a little bit with the flat fingers and a little bit with like very, very blocky chords in the right hand, but like aside from that, like everything was more balanced, and I was like, yo, there it goes, there it is. Oh man, yeah, but what's thinking, what do people think of Promised Neverland season 2? Well, I haven't even started season 1, but I've been hearing pretty bad things about season 2, which makes me wonder if I should even start season 1. Gotta learn for your senpais? Yeah, man. Dude, I got you, Keanu. We'll go over your stuff next time, since I just feel like talking now. I guess the Phoenix Wright thumbnail overdid it. But, you know, always here to help, And Elijah Rain finally shows his face the moment I mentioned how much I don't want to watch season 1 because season 2 sucks, according to him. He's the one who's telling me that season 2 sucks, and I'm like, that's enough convincing to not watch season 1, but I don't know. Is it worth it? Is it, like, cause it's like, okay, here's the thing. I think we like to judge anime, and I think this isn't wrong, right? Artistically, we should perhaps judge anime like season by season. Like sometimes you can't, right? Sometimes you still have to factor in the whole work, the entirety of the work, because it still has to string together. It's like, how do you judge, like, whatchamacallit, like even Re:Zero, right, from a season to season basis, when Subaru as a character develops so much as a result of season 1 into who he is in season 2, which then results in more things in season 2, right? Like there's sometimes stuff is just like set up, right, for another season. You just read the manga, High School DxD. We're not watching that. Not into ecchi, not into hentai. So, but yeah, it's like, you know, it's hard to judge certain things like off of just one season or like just one episode, right? So it's like, dang, I don't know. It makes me very cautious and hesitant to approach, you know, Promised Neverland. I've never heard a redo of Healer, so I will have to look it up later, but I'm assuming that's something that I'm not going to watch. But yeah, anyways, no, we'll see. I'm not gonna look it up then. Okay, we will not look it up. Y'all be trolling me. One moment you guys go from simping to the next moment you guys go start trolling. The heck? Let the man live, let the man be. Quick question. Really long arpeggios, look at the hand that's doing the arpeggio, or just catch a glimpse of it and let muscle memory do the rest. Yeah, good question. I think for long arpeggios, it depends, right? If you're, it shouldn't even be an anime, it's legit hentai. Yeah. So with arpeggio, or I guess with technical things in general, actually I was just editing this video earlier, talking about how to practice hard stuff, this is part 2. And I talk a little bit about this, but with technical things in general, you want to, especially if both hands are doing something technical, you want to choose to prioritize looking at the hand that's doing the harder stuff first, right? And then the other stuff that's easier, you can just keep like as muscle memory, and you just burn that in and just don't worry about it. So I guess what's a good example? The example that I used in the video is Ballad G minor, right? And so I know I'm not talking about arpeggios yet, but I think this is kind of about haters and people raging. This is kind of demonstrates the point as well, because the right hand is pretty technical, but like after you practice a little bit, because of the repetition of the position, you can kind of tell where you are on the keyboard, right, and have a feel for it that way. But with the left hand, you really have to look in order to stick where you're going. So in that case, I'm looking at the left hand, right? But I know with some things with like long arpeggios, even in some of the animes is this game, as it gets higher and higher up, right? Like it is like suddenly like because of the way the arm is angled and where you're coming in from now, it gets a little bit like iffy, right? And so I end up looking for something like that. But it usually happens when the left hand isn't doing much. So I would say first and foremost, if both hands, if only the hand that's playing an arpeggio is doing something technically demanding, then look at your hand. That's fine, right? But if both hands are doing something technically demanding, then I would say that the arpeggiated hand needs to have it down by muscle memory, like really, really well down by muscle memory, because you can do that, right? It's all the same intervals over and over again. You just got to feel the same intervals over and over again, to the point where you don't need to look at it, so you can look at the other hand. Does that kind of help? I hope. I don't know if that very specifically answered the question. Catch a glimpse of it and then let muscle memory. Yeah. So again, one thing that I like to think about when I'm practicing stuff like this is especially with runs and arpeggios, I am always fairly confident that I can hit the run or arpeggio if I can land the first like one or two notes. So I think certainly you want to catch a glimpse of that first note to land on, and then once you land on that note, then you can let your muscle memory do the rest, right? And not look. So is that bad or that good? That bad or that good? Oh yeah, redo of healer. Dang, we're still on redo of healer. Interesting, but anyways, I hope that helps, Noel. If not, feel free to ask for more clarification. Yeah, no problem. How would I pedal long continuous arpeggios? Depends. So I think well, I need an example. I can't play Winter Wind because I haven't actually started learning that. I was gonna say, or like Waterfall, right? But let's say does Revolutionary Etude suffice for this example? Because I can play that. Or okay, yeah, it does, I think. So let me stop the music real quick. All right. So with long continuous arpeggios, so I'm assuming that we're talking about crossing the bar line here too, right? Or like there's changing harmonic elements in the left hand or the right hand that's not part of the arpeggio, and it's like, how do you get that clean? So I think the first thought, right, is to try okay, sorry. Winter and Kilios. Too distracting la. Anyways, but first thing, try changing the pedal and see what it sounds like, right? Which I'm assuming that you're already doing. My positioning is so bad. Right? And try changing it in different places to see what it sounds like. To get a feel for which notes you actually care for hearing all the way through, and which ones you don't actually need to hear all the way through. So that's step one, I think. Most of the time, you're gonna find that you want to hear the bass note all the way through, which then complicates the issue. But like, if you realize that you don't need to, then that clears up. Oh, maybe pedaling gets a little bit easier because you can change more often than you think. Second thing, I think so. Second step is phrasing and voicing, right? So melodic elements, if the arpeggio is the melody, then how are you going to shape the arpeggio? If there's melodic elements in the other hand, how are you going to keep that like on top of everything else, given that the pedal is adding extra mud, right? And so that's the second thing that I would think about. The third, if you're at a level to start thinking about something like this, right? And it's totally fine if you're not. And also, I don't know you're playing well enough. I've seen some of your videos, but like, you know, I still don't have I don't have the most solid grasp on anyone's level, let's be real. But until I like sit down and work with them. But like, the third thing is to consider half pedal, flutter pedal, or even like left pedal at certain points to help with that, or middle pedal if you're on a grand, so that you're able to sustain like maybe perhaps the more important note. So typically the order that I go in is, I think, flutter pedal first, and then I go half pedal, or no, sorry, I think try half pedal first, and I try flutter pedal, and then I will try changing or different levels of fluttering the pedal, right? Or fluttering, or either fluttering on a certain beat, or just like continuously fluttering like this, or something else, right? Or even holding half pedal and then like trying to flutter, and I'll work through all of those, and then finally, if none of that works, then I'll consider trying middle pedal, trying like left pedal, to see if that helps soften some of the tones that I don't want, or I rethink how I want to pedal. That was kind of convoluted, but does that kind of make sense, Billy? I hope. Yeah, long arpeggios are tough because they get really, really, really thick. But I mean, I think, yeah. Well, I'm not getting a response. I hope that made sense. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. So basically, I'll just sum up real quick. See if you can get away with actually changing the pedal at different spots, and if you can be very precise about those spots. Right. Step 1. Step 2. See if voicing properly helps. So like perhaps you're carrying a melody in the left hand or right hand or whatever, right? And you're doing a long arpeggio on the left. See if you can play the rest of that really, really light, and if that helps, keep it like not as muddy. Step 3, try half pedaling, so that it's not as thick as you're going up or down. Step 4, try fluttering the pedal, and step 5, rethink how you're pedaling, so start over. So, yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. I don't think I've come across I think you can apply this strategy to generally anything, not just arpeggios. So yeah. Again, feel free to ask more if it's still not clear, and I can perhaps think of a better explanation. You just suck at pedaling? Yeah, I mean, everyone starts off sucking at pedaling, dude. So don't feel bad about it. It's far more important to start by practicing your accuracy and your precision with pedal than it is to get the right sound, I think. And this is like one of the times where I think I'll say prioritize a bit of technique over the music, because unfortunately I think pedal gets overlooked by a lot of people. Actually, I was just explaining this to Double Flat on Wednesday because we had a lesson, and we were working on his pedaling. But a lot of people overlook some of the technical elements of pedaling, where like when it should come down, when it should come up, like how to come down really quickly, how to come up really quickly, what it's supposed to actually be even doing, right? Like holding notes and stuff like that. And it takes a bit of practicing just practicing on beat pedal for like X amount of time, and then like practicing like connecting 2 notes or 2 chords, right, for X amount of time. How much are lessons? Right now it's about $30 an hour. But I mean, I'm more than happy to explain things here as well. It's just that I don't get to see you and work through stuff like specifically for you. But yeah, it's like, you know, you gotta practice that on beat, right? So like I'm coming down with pedal and I'm coming up right immediately after, and no bleed, right? But extra emphasis because I'm pedaling. And then you gotta connect, right? And then I'm coming down at the same time as coming up. Right, and there's no bleed, and there's nothing like that's dry, right? It's all connected, and so practicing stuff like that, right, will help immensely with your pedaling. Yeah, I guess this is like the self-promo moment since I mentioned it. If you want a lesson, you should just contact me down below in my email, and we'll sort it out. But yeah, does that kind of make sense? Does that kind of make sense? Yeah, everyone has to start off practicing this way, I think, and not enough people do. So, yeah, because everyone just wants to jump into making stuff sound good with pedal, when there's a lot of finger work that needs to go into it first before pedal, and then even with pedal, there's some work that goes into learning how to properly apply it, right? So, and again, not saying that I'm a pedal master, not saying I'm a pedal master either, but I just have a fair idea of all the things that I can experiment with in order to get a certain sound that I want. and there's still like 10 people watching. I never know what to do when I don't get enough feedback from the chat. So it's like, do I just awkwardly sit here for 10 people to watch me awkwardly sit here, or do I like do something else? Tell us a joke. Awkward silence. Yes. Oh my gosh. Awkwardly sit. I'll perch in my chair. You know, like this, like freaking Gollum. The peak of entertainment. No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, most people come on to streams while, like, you know, that's the fun of streams, right? It's like you get to hang. It's like hanging out with someone while you're doing something else, and I mean that's why I watch freaking Kali and Kiara. No, I'm kidding. Life stories, embarrassing moments, piano related or like not piano related. I think one stream I told the story of my 8th grade crush, right? How I confessed to her, and then she was like, I don't like you, and then like 3 months later she confessed to me, and I was like, I don't like you anymore either. Piano, I would say the most embarrassing piano, one of the most embarrassing piano moments was like going to a competition and stopping completely. Right, and this is very generic, right? But I think the worst part was that I've told this story before on this channel, but it was like some audition competition for like I was auditioning for some recital here in the Philadelphia area with like the Music Teachers Association or whatever, and they always play at Temple, you know, Rock Hall. Sometimes when it's a big deal, they get one of the side hall, like Whale Hall or Weiss Hall from Carnegie Hall or something. So one year I got to go up to Carnegie and play, you know, like not the Carnegie Hall, but like one of the side halls, which was really nice because there was a 9-foot Steinway. Oh my gosh, the Steinway D. Dang. That was high key. That was like the greatest. Like to this day, I will say that was the greatest performance that I've ever given. And it was in an environment where nobody was allowed to take videos, so I have no footage of myself playing. But all I knew was that afterwards, I felt better than I ever had in my entire life playing, right? My teacher was happier than I've ever seen her after I played something. And the audience response was beyond what they had been given to everyone else, right? And I was like, okay, I guess I'm something else now. It was a fourth movement of Beethoven's, Sonata in C. So the first movement is, the fourth movement is, or something like that, right? So, you've only played on a grand once in your life. Dude, you need to play more on a grand. No, I'm kidding. You can get good without playing on a grand, right? So don't get me wrong, but it's just something special, you know? As I said earlier, it's an instrument. Playing a 9-foot Steinway and playing the 9-foot Bosendorfer. It was an old Bosendorfer, right? So it was at some church, but it's just like the instrument just has such an incredible dynamic range. It's such resonance, especially in a hall like that. And you just feel like it had. I've asked this piano to do as much as it possibly can, but then it's like, psych, guess what, Caleb, I've got more for you. And I'm like, dang, this is too good. I wish I could play this forever. But anyways, coming back to that story that I've told before, so this is boring for anyone who's already heard it. But I was playing Shostakovich Prelude and Fugue in A minor, and I stopped in the fugue because I just completely derailed and lost my spot. One day you'll play that. We're gonna collab. We're gonna do a collaboration one day, Keanu. And when we do a collaboration, you can play my piano. So we've already got that covered, dude. There's even more incentive to come to Philly in the winter. But yeah, so I stopped, and it wasn't just bad. It wasn't bad only because I stopped, right? It was bad because the judge then proceeded to talk to me, and like the guy was great, right? He was like confused. And obviously, he's seen this like 1,000 times before, right? Very old man and old woman, which is already sus since you're supposed to have 3 judges, right? To break ties. Anyways, but it's like when the what? Yeah, when the what, the when, the yes, yeah. The when, the what, the yes. I appreciate that fruit. I like that. It was only for 5 minutes too. Dang. Yeah. I remember as a kid, I've had 3 piano teachers now. I would say the first, it was, I haven't finished my story. Anyways, I'll finish the story and then I'll talk about my piano teachers. But after I stopped, the judge was like, you know, this is why when you're performing, you should have railroad markers, and you should be able to remember certain spots that you just jump to when you start to have a brain flip, a memory flip, and you can just go to it and keep playing. Would you like to start over? And I was like, or is there a spot that you can get in? I'm like, I was thinking, I remember sitting there like mortified. I was just thinking like, dude, I know I didn't get it, right? Like you can just tell me that I can go, right? Like I could just literally walk out of here, right? And it'd be perfectly fine. But instead he was like, you want to start over? Can you get in like 4 measures before? And I'm like, dang, I don't know how I feel about this. And obviously I didn't get in for that piece, which was, you know, expected. But that was something else. I remember sitting there and being like, right? My senior recital, right? Brain flips, memory flips are always the worst, and that happened a whole bunch, but that's okay. Talking about my piano teachers, I've had 3 piano teachers, right? My first one, I had her when I was like 3 to 4. I only had her for like 2 months, 2 or 3 months. And then unfortunately she got cancer and passed away. So we had to switch teachers at that point. I literally don't remember her, right? Because it was that long ago. Which is also funny since I've been playing piano longer than like most of the people in this stream right now have been alive, which is really makes me feel old. Really makes me feel old. But yeah, anyways, so then we switched to a local piano teacher who ran a small studio. Who ran a small studio, and I think it's a problem when, you know, this is how long have I played for? I've played for 17 years, so I'm 21. I don't know if I should say my age that flamboyantly out on stream, in public, but like I am 21, right? I am a legal adult in the States now, so I need a drink after this. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I started when I was like 3 or 4. Nobody has been able to give me a precise date, right? Which is not that important, but like somewhere around the time I turned 4, like anywhere within a month range, I started playing the piano. So we switched to the second teacher. She was all right. Yeah, I've been playing the piano longer than you've been alive. Dang, I'm an old man. That's what it means. But we switched teachers. She was all right, but I think it's a problem when like a 5-year-old kid like becomes the best student in your studio, right? Like either the other students are unmotivated, or like it's just, you know, you just capped out the teacher, or at least shows the most promise up until that point. And again, there's nothing against any of the other kids that were there. I literally don't even remember any of them. so it's fine. But it was like, yeah, maybe it's time to move on, right? So my mom went around, looked for piano teachers in the area, right, and got some recommendations. There was a guy, he's moderately well known. He toured in was it Austria or Germany when he was younger, before he came over to the States. And once he came over to the States, he became a pedagogue and only taught, I think, or mostly taught, but very, very great teacher from my understanding. His name was Dr. Andor Kisley, Andorkiszely. If you bother to look him up. But yeah, you made it, Hayden. Thanks for stopping by, dude. We're talking about my old piano teachers and life stories, I guess. But yeah, I started with Andor Kisley. I did not start with Andor Kisley, sorry. I auditioned for a studio. Oh yeah, this is a fun story. Okay, so this is like, I don't ever mean to rag on you guys or any of the people that I watch for technique, right? Because I know how hard it is to have to sit down and fix technique, right? I don't want to beat people over the head with it, but I also want to emphasize it in the right proportion, right? I've had to fix technique twice in my life. Once was when I was 5, when I switched to my final piano teacher, the last piano teacher that I had for like 14-15 years. Second time when I switched to my violin teacher in 8th grade, and it was just it was too much that I just had to drop the violin, right? If I wanted to keep playing piano at a high level. Like I couldn't dedicate hours to violin and compete on the piano, right? And so I know it's like, you know, being like, you know, I've been playing this for years, I think I'm pretty decent at it, and then someone comes in and is like, you know what? All you're doing is trash, or not actual trash, but you're doing everything wrong. You need to put in the time to fix everything and make it right, and so that you can obviously you get worse, right? When you're doing it for the first few months, even first few years, right? First year for me playing the violin with this teacher, Leah Kim, was something else. For an 8th grader, right? Like, as a kid, you can do it, right? Because your parents make you. Sorry, yeah, my mom made me do it, but like, as an 8th grader, I actually put in the effort to try, and it was just like way too much, man. It was just like, dang, I had to drop the violin. So I get what it feels like to have to fix technique like that. But anyway, suffice it to say, when I auditioned for Dr. Kisley's studio, I was incredibly nervous. I was a really nervous boy, because I hadn't played that much in front of audience up until this point, because the studio was too small to do that, right? So here's this stranger. I'm 4 or 5 years old. This guy's asking me to play like some of the pieces that I've been working on, and it's just, I played this like one Bach thing, right? He had to change the entire trumpet. Yeah, I don't know what embouchure, I don't know means, but yeah. Euroline April, first real motivation to pay attention to piano lessons. Yeah, dang. True that. Hey, at least you started way early. You started early enough, dude. But anyways, I showed up to Dr. Kisley's studio. I auditioned. I played it once, and then he said something. I forget what he said, but he told me to play it again. But I, as a 5-year-old kid, was not so confident as I am now. And even now, I still get very nervous when I'm playing for people, right? But I was like, I just said no, right? Oh, the shape of your mouth? Yeah, I've tried playing trombone exactly one time, and I remember I could not get a tone because my lips were too loose. And my friend, he's from like 7th grade, was like, yeah, it's hard. And I'm like, yeah, it's really hard. What the heck? So after that, I developed massive respect for any horns players and stuff like that. But yeah, he was like, basically he just said that I was like an insolent kid because I didn't want to play for him again because I was too nervous. And then he gave an analogy that still like, it made sense. And I think that it still makes sense, but it's still like a little bit frustrating, right? His analogy was, when you write on a sheet of paper, and you go and erase it, you can never get the original pencil mark completely off. And he was using that to describe my technique. He was saying that with regards to my technique. He said that to my mother, right? Who said this to me later. But it's like, yeah, basically he was saying like, you're annoying because you're not listening and you're not putting in the work, right? And you're not like playing when I'm telling you to play. And again, I don't know the guy, right? Like never have, so I can't actually judge his character or make any of those statements. But in that moment, he was like, slightly annoying. But then on top of that, he's like, you're a lot of work because you have years of fixing ahead of you, and you will never be able to fix everything because you started off poorly, because the right foundation wasn't built. And I was like, dang, dang. Like to some extent, I think that's true, right? Like all throughout my life, I've had a little bit of difficult, and I don't know if this is like just natural tendency or like actual habit because I started off like this, but like I've always had to be a little bit extra cognizant of where I'm holding my arm, right? Of where I'm holding my arm and where my shoulder is, right? Again, it's natural human tendency to just put your arms here. It's natural human tendency to tense up sometimes, but I can't help but wonder if it's somewhat confounded, right, by something like that. Yeah, he was straightforward again, right? He's a guy who's produced students that went to Juilliard, who've gone to Curtis, right? So he's really good teacher by all intents and purposes, but like that's something that's just like, like even if it's a true statement, and I get it, right? He said it to my mom, he didn't say it to me, right? Obviously at 5 years old, I don't think I would have gotten what it meant either, right? But it's like, yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into this, and unfortunately, like I never want to say that to one of you guys, right? I don't want to be like, hey, guess what? Because y'all are self-taught and you guys don't know, didn't start off right, you're never gonna make it, right? You're never gonna be able to learn how to play properly. That's just not true. I don't think that's true, right? I think you can practice and like and get to a point where it's like you can fix a lot of even all the issues, right, by some standard and get good at the craft, whatever good means, right? So it's like I think this goes into like talking about like the plasticity of the brain and like how learning works and stuff like that. But there is a certain extent to which the first imprint maybe lasts a little bit longer. But suffice it to say, that was not the greatest experience. And then I went to the teacher that I had now, Ursula Ingolfsson, Swiss teacher, I believe. She's from Switzerland. Came over. She studied with like people like I forget, Sava Savoth or whatever in Germany, and like even with a little bit with like Rudolf Serkin. I love Rudolf Serkin's Beethoven concertos. Oh my gosh, so good. But yeah, she agreed to take me, and the rest is history. She's an incredible piano teacher, and like at first it was like all I could think was like, wow, she's really strict, and she was really strict, right? Like when you make Asian parents think that you're a strict teacher, you know you're a strict teacher, right? Even if you're not Asian. That's all I gotta say. But she was also really great. I think she understands how to work with kids really well. She's like late 70s now, incredible. But yeah, really works with kids well. Really works with advanced students well, IMO as well. Obviously, by the time I started with her, she was, you know, getting up there in age, and when I ended, it was like, you know, you could tell, right? Like things are a little bit slower, and she wants to focus more on like just like, you know, working on crafting the whole thing, as opposed to like nitpicking some of the stuff. But yeah, it was a little bit it's interesting to me, right? This is the last thing that I'll say. This is not a knock against her music school. This is not a knock against her as a teacher. But by the time it was I was there, she didn't have that many like stellar students anymore, right? And I don't know why. I think that she still is good enough of a teacher to produce those sorts of students. But she's had students go to Curtis. She had students once they were 11 join the Juilliard program, right? But by the time it was me, I was the best student in her studio when I was 16, right? Because the guy ahead of me, his name was Harry, graduated, went to Princeton, right? He was really good. She's probably still better than me. But like, it was me and this other kid, Matt, and I'm like, dang, if this is like, wow, it's like, I couldn't help but feel like a bit of a letdown, you know? Like, and sure, she never said this, and this is all like in my imagination, because I don't think she would say this, right? Because she cares much more about music than like someone winning competitions. That was something that I really appreciated about her, right? She didn't want to send me to every competition because she didn't think that it was healthy. And she's like, you know, like you can play better than other people, but like half of the competition is politics, even if you play well. I'm like, wow, is that true? And then like thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, that was kind of true. So she had a very even-handed view of competing as well, right? But most teachers now want their students to compete so that they can make a name for themselves and they charge more for a studio and then do better and better and yada yada. But yeah, QEOs, you gotta go. All right, dude. See you next time. Thanks for stopping by. I hope this WattKeys chilling and chatting session, it was nice for you. But yeah, it's like, dang, I felt like a bit like, man, I wish I was better, right? I wish I put in more work when I was younger. I wish I was, you know, because what if she feels disappointed that this is what she's got left, right? I'm not saying that she did. Again, like don't hear me wrong. Like she never gave an inclination or indication that was the case. But for me, it was just like, you know, that's one of the things that, like, when I look back, it's like, especially with now my passion, right, for piano now. Like if I had this when I was like 10 years old, actually, no, I should say when I was like 12 or 13, right? Where would I be? I was told, again, I feel like I'm flexing a lot. I don't mean to flex, but there was a time in my life when I was told that I should apply to conservatory, not by my teacher, but by other people who have been to conservatory, right? People who have been to Oberlin, people who have been to Juilliard, people who've been to Curtis, right? Who graduated from those programs, and they told me to apply. They were like, you have a good shot if you put together a portfolio, if you put together your stuff, you know, and grind it out, you have a good shot, right? Because not many people hear music the way you do now. Not many people have the touch that you do now. And I'm like, okay, but I just didn't care, right? I was just like, yo, I don't like playing piano that much. I enjoy it, don't get me wrong. The reason why I stuck with piano through high school and middle school is because I found it genuinely entertaining, but I didn't love it. I didn't realize how special and how it was to me and how much it meant to me. But you know, sometimes I think back and I wonder like, what if I realized that and I put in that sort of work. But then I also realized that it took a year and a half not having this, right, to realize that it was something special. It's almost like did someone bring up Count of Monte Cristo last time, or was it in Discord? But in the Count of Monte Cristo, I believe even in the abridged and the unabridged version, I forget what his name, Edmond Dantes or whatever, at the end, it's like he sends a letter to Maximilian in the epilogue, and it's like he talks about some stuff in the plot, but one of the things that sticks out to me is like he says something to the effect of, what if the only way to know what true happiness is to suffer through like utter despair? Like, the more you understand what sadness is, the more you're able to understand what happiness is, because everything is relative, or something along the lines of that. Again, I don't think it's necessarily true. I think people have been sad without knowing what happiness is, and have been vice versa, right? That's just a state of being. But it's also very true that you have to, that all humans, I would say, except for those who are extremely emotionally impaired, so amygdala damage and like stuff like that, experience the full spectrum of emotions. And it's like each one almost seems to inform like how the others are perceived to you, and how much you value stuff, right, as a result. And it's like almost took a year and a half of not having this for me to realize that it was that worth, right? So do I reminisce and wish that I put in more work? Yeah. But would I go back and change it? No. You know, it's that usual what should we call it, like conundrum, paradox, I don't know. Dude, that always thing keeping me going. Yeah, it would have been a huge waste to quit, I guess, for me as well. And sure, I think the parents told me that a lot. But I was fortunate enough to, even though I was quote unquote forced, right? I don't think that it would be perhaps most accurate to say forced, right? Because I do think that there are some things that you have to start young, and unfortunately as a 4-year-old, you're not going to be like, most 4-year-olds don't sit down and say, hey, I want to put in an hour of work into the piano every day so that I'll have a solid foundation laid for the future, so that I can like enjoy this for the rest of my life, right? So I'm incredibly thankful for my parents for making me do that, right? But at the same time, I recognize that like if at some point the passion or the enjoyment doesn't develop, then that leads to people being that leads to your typical kid who's like, I'm very upset, I would never do this to my children, I would never yada yada. And I get that, right? I was fortunate enough that in 4th grade I had a really fun time playing at one competition, a concerto competition, and I felt so good afterwards that I was like, yo, maybe playing piano is actually fun. And it was like that's the moment that I knew that I wanted to play piano, right? Or keep playing the piano. So and as 36 on, he practiced an hour a day before he could play Nintendo. Yeah, my parents did that to me too, right? Like I couldn't play video games. We could only play video games. My brother and I could only play video games on Saturday, and that was after we practiced for an hour each, right, of piano. And then once we started playing the violin too, maybe not exactly an hour of violin since we were always more invested in piano, but like 15 to 30 minutes of violin before we could all go and play Super Smash Bros. So, yeah. Yeah. My parents forced me, enforced that a little harder. I read so much, I didn't have as much piano time. Yeah, I read a lot of fantasy when I was a kid too. I wish you had a Nintendo 6. I had a Game Boy Advanced because my cousins, right? So I'm the second youngest in my generation, or at least in like, I don't know what the family tree is in English, right? Or even Mandarin. An hour of piano, 30 minutes of chess tactics. Dang, no, when I played chess in 6th and 7th grade, and so we had to do 1 or 2 videos of like chess tactics from a national master or whatever as well. For 10 minutes of Minecraft though, that's kind of sucky. But yo, are you USCF rated, Winter? Cause that'd be pretty dope. I think I only ever got, like, my highest rating was like 860, but yeah, I played a Game Boy Advance SP, dude. I remember playing Pokemon. You know, it was like all these like random Star Wars games, you know, Lego Star Wars on Game Boy SP, you know, some Batman games. Now I haven't played in a long time. All good. Oh, you had a rating? Dude, next stream we're playing chess. Chess.com. Yeah, exactly. You were 1200s? Dang, 1200s in second grade? I was 860 in like 7th grade. Dang, what the heck? Wow. Yeah, actually I will say Pokemon was really good, but I always loved this turn-based game called Advance Wars. Advance Wars was my absolute favorite game. And in fact, I got like an emulator like a few weeks back just to play some Advance Wars, right? Because it was that much fun. But yeah, turn-based strategy games. Anyways, you forget all your tactics. I don't remember my tactics either. The only thing that I knew was like, I would play whenever I'm white, I play E4, and then like once I play E4, then I play, what was it, Knight C4, Knight C4, and then if they play, I don't know, any knight move, then I played like the Scotch opening or whatever. Just push pawn like what was it, F5, or sorry, F4. Knight C3. I said Knight C4, didn't I? Knight C3. Anyways, now you lose to basically anyone. Yeah, it's all good, dude. I lose to a lot of people now too, and I'm like, dang. But yeah, we used to go out and play like every Tuesday, and it would be like rated at like some chess club, right? And then we stopped doing that because we started playing ping pong. And so I got rated in table tennis up all the way through the end of high school. So yeah, but yeah, the Game Boy SP was pretty baller. And then at some point, someone gave us a Wii, like OG Wii, and that's when I started getting into Smash. Kind of Smash in like 09, 08, 09. Yeah, just again, it's just always E4, E5. When someone does like the Queen's Gambit, or like does the like a French defense or whatever, or like even plays like some sort of like Sicilian or whatever, I'm just like, I have no idea what's going on. E4, E5, or E4 or E5, and then like D4 or D5, you know, and just play the knights and wait and see. I have an Xbox in my house before I was born. Dang, parents were gamers. The heck. My parents weren't gamers. They didn't like it that much. WattKeys official Smash Ultimate in Chess 20. Sure. I mean, I'd be down. I don't have a Switch, right? So I don't play Smash Ultimate that much. I only play when I play with friends, and I'm only good at it because I play so much Melee. So I'm a Melee player, guys. So actually, what happened was my brother, once I was about to hit high school. So my brother's 2 years younger than me, right? He started looking into mods for Brawl to try to get Mewtwo, and so he downloaded Project M. I don't know, Project M is very niche, so you might not know, none of you probably heard of it, but it's basically a Brawl mod that puts all the Melee mechanics back with some balancing to the characters. And so I started playing Project M and started learning how to do like the tech skill for Melee and stuff like that. And then I started getting into competitive Project M, realized that like half the competitive Project M players are competitive Melee players, started watching competitive Melee and got into competitive Melee, and now I play Melee. So anyways, your dad played 2 games, Raw Sport, and Halo. Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Halo's a mainstay. I'm awful at FPS games though. Yeah, I'm okay at fighting games. Fighting games are my jam. I just get very frustrated and like, you know, he's just mashing, you know, and but my jab, my frames, you know, frame data. But anyways, Rail Sport, car racing. Car racing is also a staple, but yeah. We should totally have a chess tourney. We just need a prize. We definitely need a prize, and we definitely need like something. Everyday ultimate beat lag. Dude, you gotta switch to Melee. Switch to Melee. I'm telling you, get Project Slippy. That rollback netcode. With the rollback netcode, play Melee. Fossil Fighters? I've never heard of Fossil Fighters. What the heck? Is it like a platform fighter? Wow, what are all these notifications on Discord? What the heck? Oh. Interesting. Pokemon ripoff? Dang. Oh, wait. I feel like I might have heard of it. Fossil Fighters? Yeah, DS. The DS, like, I feel like the DS just, like, felt... It was, like, novel and super cool at the time, right? But then, like, when we look back, the nostalgia of the Game Boy is just, like, far exceeds the DS. So you don't remember DS. Dinosaurs and Hilarious Story. Dang. Maybe I should get it on an emulator or something. It has its own dino waifu? Bro. Is this how you got into anime? Is this what happened? Beastars but with dinosaurs? No, I'm kidding. I'm messing. But yeah. Well, I didn't realize I could stream and just talk like this for like an hour. It's pretty nutty. No. All good. As to be expected. As I hope. But yeah. Alright, next I suppose next time, unless this is enjoyable for all y'all, just interacting on stream like this and listening to me tell stories. Next time I'll have some more material prepared. Like some videos that I know beforehand I want to take a look at. So probably like some Unravel, just cause, you know, looking at Unravel, I can make the thumbnail. Fight me in chess next stream, dude. If you want, next week, let's stream chess. Well, let's do chess next week, at 9:30, just so you can gauge how bad you really are, dude. I've gotten so bad too, but we'll say okay. Let's say, because this channel is, I'm not ruining my focus on this channel. So I'll do like one video review first, right? So we'll say around like 10:30, we'll play a game. Let's say like 15 minutes on the clock or something. Yeah, chess showdown. You know it, Matt. You know it. I need to get some help. No, I'm kidding. It's like what is it? The Trash Taste podcast, like chess arc, all over again. Yeah. Who's the dark horse here? Who's the dark horse and who's the villain? But yeah. Anyways. Dang. 10 people still watching this stream. Pretty good. That's pretty good. It's not expecting this, you know, since I'm just sitting here and talking. But you tune into a chess tournament on a piano YouTube channel any day. True. That'd be pretty interesting. But you know, I still gotta cover some piano stuff because I think I like making myself available at least for a little bit of time, you know, just so that. Because I know a lot of people, you know, don't get an opportunity to talk like this about piano. Dude, Winter, you and I are always competing on stuff now. You know, my dearest in like 3-4 months, and now chess. What's next? Better shape up on those tactics. Dude, I only play on principles. I don't know any tactics. What do you mean tactics? But yeah, I definitely want to. At the very least, make myself available for anyone coming through, since I know most of y'all who are watching this cooking showdown. Is it me versus you, Matt? Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah. You solely exist to challenge me? Is this an anime trope? What the heck? It's like, what? Fight me, senpai! So that I can take the mantle from you. The day you're gonna beat me someday, and it's gonna be like, wow, I am the captain now. I am the master now. You've exceeded me, Winter-kun. You have become great. within your own right. Now go forth. Your training is complete. You know. So, anyways, it's hilarious. But oh, I forgot to talk about the collaboration. That was really dope. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the collaboration. Today you lost 1574 times and won once. What the heck? But yeah, no, the collaboration with Rama's channel. Yeah, the one win. That's all you're going for. Is that's a reference? That's a reference from somewhere. Is it? Oh, I forget. But the AOT collaboration was a whole lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I put in the time and effort into editing and like all those fun stuff, even though it took me forever. Not really? Darn it. I was so sure that there's a reference there. But yeah, the collaboration was epic. It was like just talking a little bit about it, and like the work that went into it. It was, at first I was really surprised at how sorry, this is not a roast, but how unsynced everything was. It's just hard to keep things like synced up. I guess it's a reference to every time. Yeah. The Wins One says like, I am the champion now, right? It's like, yeah, but no, I think what might help next time when doing a collaboration project like this is doing scratch tracks. It is what we do a lot. Oh, see you, Winter. Have fun. Thanks for stopping by, dude. Really appreciate you coming by, and of course, I look forward to our tournament arc next week. But yeah, the stream was fun. That's the first time you said that. That's the first time you said that the stream was fun, and I guess that's because I'm doing more talking than usual. This collab we are talking about groups of 3. What do you mean? Like for the next one? I'm talking about the ones that we just finished. For like editing and stuff like that, and I was just gonna talk a little bit about how that played out for me. But what is this new collaboration? New format? Groups of 3? That makes sense, right? Like having a group of 3. Wow, you guys really talking a lot while I'm streaming, keeping me out of the loop. I see how it is. Yeah, I see. I just scrolled through like 50 messages. But no bailing. Dang, wow. What if I want to bail? Still planning everything out. Okay, but I think what was interesting is that, oh, I'm basically the only editor. Yeah, that's true. At least with audio, right? It's kind of interesting. But again, I think scratch tracks will help. Basically, like you have like 1 or 2 people do like a rough take that's like very rhythmically accurate, and everyone else plays with a click or metronome to that one take as well. So it helps you get more of a feel. This is what we do all the time in like recording industry stuff. Like if you're recording tracks separately, right? That's how you get stuff done with like very little equipment, and I guess it works depending on vibe. But yeah, it was fun. I actually had a lot of fun trying to work out the instrument parts and how they fit in, cause like it is no surprise, right? Having some people recording on their phones, some people recording on mics, some people recording on VST, some people recording a freaking snare. You know, the audio quality is all going to come through weird. But what you got to do, I think, what helped was that if there's enough, like, I don't want to say, I'll say good sounding stuff, then you can use that to fill up a lot of the frequency spectrum, and then you use everything else to just like slide it into where it needs to go. So you only need to hear the stuff that are important. It's almost like voicing, you know, on a piano. So playing the piano helps with audio engineering for all aspiring audio engineers out there. So that was the sort of approach, you know. But anyways, I had a lot of fun. I'm glad I did it. I'm not sure if I can devote that sort of time again, like frequently, like just being real until the summer. But wow, you guys are really going in this Discord conversation. I feel like I'm gonna be left out, but that's okay. I don't deal with FOMO. Yeah, but thank Lord. If you're streaming oriented, are you consider Twitch over YouTube? I've considered Twitch over YouTube. I'm not necessarily okay. So YouTube is still the main drive. I use Stream the goal with stream is so that I can connect with people and so that I can teach, right? Teach more personally in an environment that's like how do I say, more that's like not as taxing on me as a private lesson is, because that's like a lot of time, right? And like effort and stuff like that. I do deal with FOMO, just not on Discord servers. No, I a little bit, right? Especially when you guys talk about interesting stuff, but I don't necessarily need to be there, because I'm not that smart. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, so streaming, first and foremost for me, the priority is connecting with existing people, right? I don't care much. Yo, what's up, Adam? It's been a hot sec. Yo, why don't we ever talk anymore, dude? No, I'm kidding. I love you, dude. But yeah, streaming is for connecting with people. Streaming is for teaching, right? People who aren't able to either schedule time for private lessons, find a private teacher, or hire me to teach privately now that I do that too, right? Or people who just want to get my opinion on something real quick, right? So this is what streams are for. It's less personal and it takes less effort for me, and I like being able to interact with a lot of people like this. Yeah, Adam's the GOAT. Dude, Adam, you need to pick up the violin again so that we can play more. We can collab on some Your Line April stuff, you know? Because I got one friend from school helping me with Kreutzer over the summer, but I still need someone. I don't know if she's down to learn Rondo Capriccioso as well. So I need help, Adam. I need help, dude. Anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to call you out like that. But everyone in my chat should start pressuring Adam ASAP so that he helps me play some violin for some of the stuff that I want to work on. But how much a day should someone practice a new instrument when they just start? Here, let me finish the Twitch over YouTube thing first. So with that being my goal, I don't think it's worth choosing Twitch, even though monetization will be slightly easier, because of the fact there's extra friction for everyone involved having to switch to a different platform that they're not already subscribed to me on. So I think this targets the same people that I want to know, the same people that I want to get to know better, and the same subscriber base that I want to cultivate. Right. The goal of the stream is not to get new people. The goal of the stream is to connect with the existing people. That the videos are supposed to do that, right? So that's why I stream on YouTube over Twitch primarily. But like, how much should you practice? I think as much as you can handle and you want to. Of course you can play that piece, Adam. You just need to put your mind to it. You're incredible violinist. Even though it's been a year or two, you know, you're still balling out. So, anyways, how much should you practice? It's hard to give a set time, right? I think Restream lets you stream on all platforms at the same time. Yeah, you can use like Restream or like StreamYard or whatever, but it's just not worth to me having to set up a Twitch. Like, what's the point, right? Like what's the point of streaming on Twitch, right, over YouTube? YouTube has much more discoverability than Twitch. Twitch, nobody's gonna click on my channel because they're browsing Twitch, right? And they see like 3 people watching, because I don't even rank high enough to do that, right? In Twitch, I'm just another drop in a pool, infinite pool of water, right? That's becoming more and more like saturated day by day. Whereas on YouTube, I already have a subscriber base, right? And when I say I'm live streaming, it goes out to at least some of that subscriber base. And even if they don't click on the video, and sure, maybe it hurts the algorithm slightly, the people who you guys who show up are the ones that I care about anyways, the most, right? I care about all my subs, but I care about you guys a little bit extra, a lot extra, let's be real. And so this just wins for me all over, right? I just think that there's a better solution. But yeah, you gotta be the next Ling Ling. If you don't put in 40 hours a day, you're not even playing the instrument technically, right? So I don't know. I think that's the answer to your question. No, but honestly, it's however much you care and however much you can handle, or have time to handle. So if you first and foremost, right? If you enjoy playing the piano, I'll use the piano as an example. If you enjoy playing the piano, but you don't want to be like super good and you don't want to put in like a ton of time into it, sure, practice like 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, right? Practice well for 10-15 minutes a day, right? Like, focus and understand what you're doing, and like, you know, do it right and do it properly, do it well, and you will progress faster than someone who practices mindlessly for like 60 minutes a day, right? But like, you know, just put in as much time as you can, and if you start to feel uncomfortable, then like cut back the amount of time that you're putting in, because even though, right, technically as you're playing, there should be no tension in your wrists, no tension in your fingers. Your shoulders should be relaxed if you have good posture, if everything's like relaxed and your lats are holding everything in place, right? And your core is like tight enough on the tightness. Yeah, 10 subs every day. Yeah, it's kind of nutty, you know, with the animes. Dude, I swear, all you guys out there, you fruit, I'm calling you out too. You fruit, Winter when he watches the VOD, all you guys post your Animens Unravel videos, you get thousands of views, and then you get all your subs because you played lots and lots of Animens. I don't feel like playing lots and lots of Animens because, you know, I want to play other stuff too. But I'll ride the Animens train by talking about Animens instead, you know? So that's the strat, right? That's the strat of anti-piano. Lots of Animens, or do something novel that like completely blows the lid off of whatever's been done already, and then you also get subs that way. But yeah, you got start playing Animens on clarinet. If you're not playing Animens on clarinet, then what are you even doing? But yeah, if you're uncomfortable at any point playing properly a new instrument. Oh, my camera shut off again. One sec. What do you mean by talking ideas, Hayden? Like things that I talk about, or like stuff like that? The algorithm likes Animens Unravel videos because it knows people are going to click on them, right? And when people click on them, they watch all the way through most of the time, unless it's a really bad cover, right? But like, or the audio quality is like awful, right? But yeah, anyways, Animens Unravel and like this game and like stuff like that. So I was considering, I was gonna put out Tabi no Tuchu next, right? Because I want to finish. So a lot of the stuff that I recorded from the fall. So I recorded Tabi no Tuchu in like September, and like Chopin Ballade in G minor in November, and those are all very meaningful to me because it was like a lot of how I processed like a bit of, not to be like, oh, okay, Watt has depression, right? I had a very acute bout of depression once I got tinnitus, and like a whole bunch of other stuff happened, and like, you know, I was very sad boy hours for a little bit. But yeah, it's time for 50 Unravel progress videos. But like, yeah, a lot of those pieces, playing the piano helped me process through a lot of it. And so I was gonna finish, whatchamacallit, my summer story by putting out Tabi no Tuchu, which was very impactful to me, and then Chopin Ballade in G minor, and then Chopin Nocturne in E flat. But if I want to ride the momentum that I have right now, I should put out this game. So I don't know which one I'm gonna do as of now. But anyways, getting back to Hayden's point, video ideas when I talk. Like you mean like reaction videos, or like, you know, me teaching? Because I think me teaching, like literally, I just need to turn on my stream and see, or like go click on any number of like YouTube videos. And see what you guys are struggling with, and then I have what I'm going to talk about, right? Like, no offense to anyone who's making those sorts of mistakes, but it's like, this is all things that I can see, and I can be like, this is something that I can talk about. Whether or not that's like, I can package it in a way that people are searching for it, and whether or not I can package it in such a way that people care to learn about it and would click on the video is a different story, right? But I can generate ideas very quickly because of that. This stream especially is very helpful when I see problems come up over and over again. But as for reaction videos and all those other things, it's just literally, you know, like go out and see what people are doing and what would be fun for me, right? I enjoy explaining things, I enjoy playing, I enjoy analyzing, and it's like, why wouldn't I do an analysis of Animens, right? When this is something that people are starting to accept that I have at least some degree of authority on, you know? I don't think I am the greatest pianist, I don't think I am the most like intellectual, right? The more I learn about playing technique, the more I learn about like piano, the more I learn about like all these like great pianists that come before me, the less I feel like I know. Dunning-Kruger effect, right? The less when you know a little bit, your confidence spikes, right? But then the more you know, your confidence drops, and so you think you know less than you actually know, but you know that there's a lot that you don't know, because of that, right? So I'm feeling that a lot, right? But I mean, all of your support really helps me with at least some of the content that I put out, because at the very least I know I'm a few steps ahead of you, and if I get to help you, right, reach the point that I'm at now, then it's more than enough, right? So anyways, was there a question that I forgot to answer? in totality. We talked about practicing, talked about playing animens, and talking videos, and yeah. But yeah, it's also, I will say again, Fruit is quite surreal getting 10 subs a day, or even being able to refresh my computer at any point and just like see like, you know, 10 more views on a video, right? It is nutty. It's nutty. Yeah. You're sold on the mug? Dude, you should get the mug. Help your boy out. Is Matt still here? Matt, tell him how good your mug is. No. But oh, thanks, Claris. Claristalgia. Really appreciate it. I guess I am the senpai. I'm not so removed that I am a sensei, but I am personal enough that I can be senpai. Bro, who puts a payment plan on a mug? I don't know. Dude, I signed up for, I use Stream Elements for my whole stream layout, so everything here, right, is Stream Elements, and they have better, to me, right, their shop is a little bit better than Teesprings, right? Because one, this shirt is not your, I said this last week and I'll say it again, this is not your standard Gildan that feels bad, right? This is like, whatever, if you know what bell canvas is, right, it's like, it's fine, right? It feels pretty good. It's stretchy. Again, I've done a little bit of breakdancing in this. It moves, it's fine, I like it, right? So I'm like, you know what? They have better margins than Teespring. They are more integrated into the stream than Teespring, and they feel fine, right? So why not, right? And so it's a very Teespring-like thing. So I am not very much so in control of their weird like plans and stuff like that. Oh, stickers? I got a whole bunch of stickers. Like, I would recommend against getting like the banner sticker because the colors are a little bit subdued, but the logos are pretty fire, if I do say so myself. Yeah, it's out of focus, but yeah. Get a sticker for the back of your laptop, dude. Yo, help me out, help me boy. No, I'm kidding. I really appreciate it though. Even just the sentiments, because, you know, let's be realistic here. Most of y'all are younger than me and are either broke college students or high school students who don't or middle school students, I should say, who don't work, or like whatever, or high school, you're working part-time, same for college and other fun stuff. What percentage of profit do I get? I make about $10 a t-shirt, I think, and $15 a hoodie. And I think for mugs, I make about $6. I don't know what the percentages work out to be, but it's like, yeah, I think this is, I believe they're very average prices. They're lower than the suggested prices they gave, which were like a lot more. So anyways, yeah, how about your boy? Or sub on Patreon, I don't know. or book me for a lesson. I am willing to teach privately. But anyways. Wow, I thought I was gonna be toasted at 11:30, but I guess I'm not, since I'm not forcefully teaching. I'm just chilling and chatting. Yeah, so I get a decent amount. Again, their margins are better than Teesprings. Well, we're still talking about arranging in the Discord. I'm just like watching it scroll, and like mine, like without watching. I teach piano. That's the only thing that I play well enough to be able to teach, you know? So, again, like, why I can say that I can teach, right, is that if you don't like the way that I teach, if you don't like the way that I process piano, if you don't think that I'm at a level where I would be useful to you, right, because that might be true, you have like 4 streams now to see how I process through working and stuff like that. Oh no, it's an email, right? Just email me, and I will see if I can set up a time for you and stuff like that. This is a new development. I didn't think that one of the goals of WattKeys was to start getting into a little bit of private teaching, but I didn't think that I would be able to do this so early on. But the streaming has really helped. Streaming has really helped with that. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, on one hand, of thinking about like, okay, so what is WattKeys, right? Let me ask, like, what is WattKeys? What is Hayden Piano Covers? What is Dank Lord? What is Billy Z? What are all these things, right? These are, is an interesting question to ask, right? A musician, a person who is who like basically puts out content and like is trying to make this into a career. I'm not saying that you guys are, but for me, right, who wants to perhaps do this full time at some point on top of like mixing and mastering, right? What is WattKeys to me, right? WattKeys is very, very real, right? Like an embodiment of who I am, an extension of me, a part of me, but it's also a brand, right? I also have to think about it as a brand. I have to think about it as a business. And so unfortunately, that's the case, right? Because if I don't think of it as a business, then I'm not going to be able to make enough money to actually sustain myself once I graduate, right? Like, I don't want to impose on my parents forever because that would be really sucky of me, right? And that would be really, really trashy of me too. But like, you know, at some point, your boy's gotta move out, right? Average piano covers uploaded by average pianists on the internet. I like that. That's the branding statement right there. But you know, it's like, it's on a certain level. Unfortunately, I do have to consider everything that I do on WattKeys as part of building a brand or building a business, right? Like, I don't want to. So actually, a really good book for this I would recommend to anyone. It's called The Go-Giver. Go-Giver is a book on business mentality and like how to essentially, instead of being a go-getter, right, someone who just goes out there and tries to get as much as they can for the effort that they're putting in. Go-giver is someone who goes out and seeks to give as much as they can of themselves to others, to help others, and genuinely desire to help other people, and how that plays out in business and practice and stuff like that. And it was a really good book. It set my mind, like, it was like, you know how it is, right? You hear about like greedy CEOs, you hear about like greedy corporate bosses and stuff like that, and you're like, wow, to talk about business, to talk about doing any business, I gotta be as greedy as possible. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be sleazy or slimy, right? But Go-Giver really opened my mind to like how small business and even big business stuff, right, can work with a mindset where you're seeking to genuinely help others, right? The idea with this is not how much can I charge you for this service that I'm giving you, but it should be instead, how much can I give you for this price that I've set, right? It's like a slight flip in the paradigm changes everything, because suddenly it's no longer about what I can get from you, but it's what I can give to you in a way that's sustainable for me, right? And so I think a lot about what I do here on WattKeys almost within that light a little bit, right? Like, I don't care, right? I don't need everyone who watches my streams to one day book private lessons with me or buy my products or buy merch or whatever, right? I don't want that, honestly, right? Because then that feels coercive and manipulative. If you get a lot of value out of my streams and me talking about piano, then that's great. And you should keep coming to my streams and keep coming as long as it's valuable to you. But there will come a point where some people are going to begin to be like, well, maybe there's more value, right, in something else that Caleb is offering, that WattKeys is offering. And perhaps, right, if WattKeys gives this sort of content for free, then maybe I'm willing to shell out for something that's not free, right? So that because this is a different environment, I can give you more individualized attention, or like it's a product that's more beneficial to you, right? So I don't know. This is part of the idea of WattKeys, right? It's like, I want to help as many people as possible with piano and like educating and like talking about music and working through stuff. But unfortunately, where the rubber meets the road is like, at some point, the boy's got to eat. Man's got to eat. And also at some point, it's like my time becomes valuable, right? Beyond just, you know, me sitting here streaming for 3 hours on a Saturday night, because holy crap, I've gone for 3 hours. But anyways, that was an interesting topic. I don't know how I got on that, but yeah, if you want lessons, email me, wattkeysofficial@gmail.com. I teach piano. That's about it. And you want to buy merch, feel free to buy merch. That helps me out as well. So anyways, I think that about wraps it up. I don't have much else to talk about unless y'all want me to discuss something real quick. Wait, where's the URL? Is it not in my description? Right here? Yeah, so the last line in my description. Interested in lessons, contact me at wattkeysofficial@gmail.com. Yeah. You can PM me, Hayden, if you can't find it. When I practice scales with metronome, should I listen to the metronome more than my playing, listen to my playing more, or focus equally on both, or equally on both? I think it depends where you are in playing your scales, right? If you are working on evenness and getting an even tempo, right? Okay, so Josh Wright, I think rightly splits evenness into two categories. Playing with even tempo, right? Even rhythmically and even like dynamically. So if you're working on playing evenly, rhythmically, then you should listen to the metronome more. You should pay attention to where all the notes are like falling within the metronome. The clicks. Sorry, I can't speak anymore because it's late. But once you're past that, right, and you're focusing more on playing evenly, dynamically, like each finger striking with the same articulation, then you can pay more attention to your playing than to the metronome. Does that make sense? I think there's like space for it to be equal focus, but like realistically, you're human. You're not going to be able to focus on two things equally. You're paying more attention to one thing than the other at all times. So, does that help a bit? Is it Murphy or Murph? I don't know. Yeah, I feel like a piano doctor, just like sitting here. People pop in, you know. I've embodied the Watt senpai persona. First by being older than all of you. Second by playing piano for longer than all of you have been alive. Most of you have been alive. And then third by actually providing some insight into how to play piano. But anyways, yeah. Glad to be of assistance. Yeah, glad to be of assistance. But if there's no other questions, I think I'm gonna sign off for tonight because it's been long. Dang, we roasted SLS. Yeah, we roasted SLS. Then we talked a lot about, you know, this stuff. But all right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate all of you, honestly. I think it shows, right? Like, I've gotten a ton of more subs this past week, but the same people show up, you know, or some new people like Murphin, like Danklord, and stuff like that. But like, generally, most of the same people show up. Dude, even Fonzie and Halcyon came by, right? Dang, that's something, right? But yeah, y'all are the core fan base that makes me glad to be your senpai, right? And I'm here for you. You guys need help with anything, catch me on stream, right? And I down to explain anything on the piano, explain anything about music that I can within my yeah, Fonzie came to the stream. Fonzie and Halcyon came to the stream way earlier. But yeah, down to explain any of these things. And I mean, if we're friends on Discord or something, you can PM me too. So big fame. I wish. I don't know. Maybe he'll keep coming. Maybe he won't. You know, what were we talking about when he came on? We were talking about anime, you know, and then like other things, and then we started talking about piano. He was still here, so yeah. I don't know, man. One day when I have my 1,000,000 subs. Nah, I'm kidding. I feel like my target is too niche to ever hit 1,000,000 subs. But I have to turn off my Discord friend request. That's true. Friend me now when I'm still able to be personal like this. Yeah, one day, the day will come when I can't reach stream chat like this anymore, right? And I'll just have to stick to super chats because those are the only ones that will stick around long enough for me to see. Dang. Or maybe the day will never come because I'll flop and fail, but who knows. But anyways, thanks for stopping by, friends. I really do appreciate it, even though we were just chatting today and not really playing that much piano. Which wasted the Phoenix Wright, you know, thumbnail, which I'll just reuse next week. But yeah, really appreciate you all. Thanks for subbing if you're new. Thanks for watching my videos. Thanks for liking, commenting, and you know, just being great people. And I will see you all in this week's video, which is how to practice hard stuff part 2, and next week's live stream. So, peace. Where?